hey, BJ, you want to like come and, interact with us? And you're like, what? No. I'm like, BJ, brother, you could be doing so much more with this. You would have never guessed I was on acid, but BJ, on the other hand, you were scaring people, dude. People were legit terrified of you.
It's time, but don't worry, you won't remember a thing.
Come back, Caroline. Something you once knew. You don't remember.
You can't remember anything?
No.
Did you forget?
Who am I? What am I? Where am I? Now wait a minute. Remember.
This world is not real.
We are living in an artificially induced state of consciousness that resembles sleep.
The radio have brought us closer together, reaching millions throughout the world. To those who can hear me, I say...
What?
Forget about it.
Don't you remember?
Got it memorized.
What is wrong with you? I can't remember this
You
shit.
don't remember. Why am I not surprised?
Don't take it personally. I don't remember what I had for breakfast.
Gluten-free waffles, sir.
That's right.
I don't remember a goddamn thing.
The body cannot live without it. Why do I always forget my words when I speak?
Drop down.
Remember when
Remember the time. Keep it in mind.
Doc, none of us can remember anything.
Wait a minute.
I just remember. Write it down.
remember this day.
Keep it in mind. Come on. Write this down. Write it down. Write it down. Come on. Concentrate.
We are back after... It hasn't been that long. It's only been, what?
About 2 weeks or so.
2 weeks or so? Yeah. I think that's the shortest amount of time, actually. We've come back and recorded. Ever.
Well,
so
we're
far.
finally seemingly having more time off.
Oh, I know, right? Especially... we don't describe our work, but Gene had a fucking terrible day at work yesterday. And me, like the asshole, I took the day off.
Yeah,
So,
we won't get into it.
no, we won't get into it.
Oh, you said my name, so I guess I should do the introductions.
Oh, yeah, we should.
This is the show, Won't Remember a Thing. He's BJ and I'm Gene.
With a special guest right over to who's asking me for a lighter, who will be over here in a second. It is my girlfriend. We finally brought her on. It's Kelly. She's on. She's gonna go smoke a cigarette real quick before she comes over here. But she's here. She's an actual person. You'll hear her in a second.
And this is the show where we are stuck in the time capsule of today, and today is August 1st, 2020.
Oh, man. It's already August, man. It's already August.
I'm starting to shop for my Halloween costume.
Shit. Are we even going to be able to do Halloween this year?
You called my bluff.
Yeah, I was going to say, are we even going to be able to do it? Or is it going to be like you drive around in your car, and then your kid goes to the door, gets the candy, and then goes back to the car?
Tell him it's chocolate or we ain't having it.
It better have peanuts. What are they gonna cancel Thanksgiving this year too?
Social distancing.
Social distancing Thanksgiving and Christmas.
Oh, not Christmas.
Oh,
not
Christmas
Xmas.
too. There's a money maker, man. Oh no. I guarantee they ain't gonna pull anything for fucking Christmas. Like,
Dude,
fuck
we ain't
it.
gotta worry about nobody being trampled at Black Friday this year.
Says you. There's still gonna be tramplings. Probably.
You think so?
Dude, with as much as people have been cooped up and now they get a chance to really buy shit that is like, oh, now it's overpriced, but now they gotta bump it all back down again.
The itch will always be there, but I think the fear is pretty big with this one. I think people are really spooked.
Where we're at, though, do you ever really see that? You know, like, do you ever really see the maulings at the store of like the black lady trying to take away the 50-inch screen TV from the child, and they're screaming, trying to pull the TV away from him, and then it's like, no, bitch, it's mine, and then you just, or do we see that?
There is no sadder sight than seeing people fucking like WWE wrestling over a fucking potato masher.
I just don't get like why people go so nuts on Black Friday. I have gone out on an actual Black Friday once in my entire life. I don't see what it's all cracked up to be.
I'm an intellectual. I go Thanksgiving night.
I go the day
while everyone's
the night before.
eating.
I go, fuckers. I eat afterwards. It's your reward after you do all your shopping. It's your little treat to yourself. It's like, I was smart this year.
But Christmas, that's another one. I didn't even think about holidays, really. I mean, if you look at how people did the 4th of July this year, you know?
I can tell you one thing.
I think the whole Black Lives Matter thing, like, really influenced that a lot.
Maybe, but they didn't give a flying fuck in Missouri. I'm telling you, where I was, fireworks every fucking where. There was not a fucking house that wasn't lighting off fireworks in Missouri. At least in Kansas City.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Out here, I don't know. I've only been here. I've actually been here a good chunk of time. I've been here damn near a decade. I've been here.
I was gonna say you've been here almost 10 years.
Been here like 7-8 years. And
as long as I've
never seen people shoot as many fireworks as they did this year. Like, people wanted. They were making a statement.
Freedom. Fuck COVID. That's really what this was. It was like, man, now we finally get to blow shit up out of anger. Fuck COVID and the government.
I'm enraged.
Yeah! But I was gonna say, even with even here, they were shooting off fireworks like way before even 4th of July, like at absurd fucking times, like at 2 or 3 o'clock in the fucking morning.
I'm sorry. Is anyone gonna eat that? I'm a sucker for like candy corn and like speaking of Halloween and like for those who are listening, they got the little rip off candy corn pumpkin shaped things. I don't care. People say they're like, someone described eating candy corn like
it's pure fucking sugar. That's all you can say. It's pure fucking sugar in soft candy form.
And the thing about podcasting is that
it's like a fucking cow at a distance.
Ooh, right to the cavity. Oh, ow.
Hence why adults stay away from candy.
But fuck COVID. Okay, let's talk about something serious.
Fuck COVID?
Yes.
I think we've been on the fuck COVID train for a long time, but we still follow the rules of what we need to do.
No, but I'm saying, like, let's get off. Let's talk about something serious. All right. Like there's some real matters at hand. Have you guys heard of the Birds Aren't Real movement?
Birds Aren't Real movement?
No, Kelly.
I don't feel like neither of us have.
Well, are you guys in for a treat?
Oh, fun. I love it when he does this. He just brings up random shit that I have no clue of. You get to see my pure reaction. But yes, okay. The Birds Don't Fly movement. Does this have anything to do with that weird? I don't know if you saw it, but it was a video of I think it was in Ecuador or Peru or some shit where the birds...
Let me stop you right there.
Okay.
Because it's Birds Aren't Real movement.
Ah. All right. Well, that bird glitched the Matrix. That's all I was gonna say.
I love that you said that because the Birds Aren't Real movement is basically it's basically a conglomerate of millennials saying that birds aren't real.
Oh God.
They were real, maybe. There's some. If you come across some of them, it depends who you ask. But some of them will say that birds were real at one point, but they all died off. And what you see as birds today are robots that are meant for surveillance for the government. And
can I say one thing on that?
Hold on. Okay, I'm getting to the best part. The reason why I bring this up. The reason why we were put in this pandemic and put in quarantine is so they could recharge the birds' batteries. This is actually something people believe. So,
what?
I want to give you a taste. I want to show you the guy.
I think I was having a mini acid trip when you said that. What? What?
I know that the kids say the darndest things, man. I'm telling you.
The millennials say the darndest things. I think that's
the new show.
Now.
Yeah.
Yes.
But here's, I believe the guy that founded the organization, I guess.
Yeah, with the fucking billboard.
Yeah, they got their own billboard. Look at them. So official.
All right, maybe you've seen the billboard near the Highland Strip or heard the story on Wednesdays Live at 9. A campaign called Birds Are Not Real brings its efforts to the Mid-South.
And this morning we are joined by one of the messengers.
Check out the swag, though. Did you see the swag?
Yeah. is here to tell us how this all came about. We want to emphasize you were not the founder.
Look at this guy.
What the fuck?
Wow. So
That's
how
their
did you
president.
come
Look
with
at
it?
this
What is the
drugged
message of
out
the
motherfucker.
The message of the movement is essentially to spread awareness that
Of
from
what?
1959 through 2001, the government mercilessly genocided over 12 billion birds and simultaneously replaced them with surveillance drones in disguise that film us
I
every
do
day.
not want whatever
Believe
he's
these
smoking.
cameras
Dude, is he
are
like,
filming us right
is
now.
he doing the
So
old
what do you have
weed
to
and the
back
cough
that up?
drop or cough syrup
Back
shit?
that up,
Like,
yeah.
is he
as
doing
much
that? Like, what the
evidence
fuck is this
as
dude
the
on?
birds have provided. There's so much.
So this is really satire. I mean, you don't really believe that that happened, correct? This is a satirical campaign to make the point that what?
He's really offended by that question.
You're looking at me like, no, it's not satire. I really do believe this.
Oh my fucking god.
Honestly, it's kind of offensive.
Okay.
I find
So it's not
that
satire.
offensive.
I don't think you would say
Oh
that
my
if I
god.
said
I don't
it's
see
not
why
real.
he said.
That's offensive.
You know, I don't know why the other side of the argument can't be treated with equal respect.
Because the other
Except
side of the
before we
argument's
came out on air,
retarded.
you said
Dude,
this
why
was
is
a
he so
satirical
burnt
message.
crispy?
So what
Like,
is
why
it?
does he seem like crunchy?
So
Like,
what point are you
Dude,
trying to make
why does he
here?
seem
I
like
mean,
he
and
literally
why-
just got
why
out of a
did this
hot
movement
box and then
come
went
about
right
now?
to that?
Well, this movement came about
He's
in
like, I know exactly what I'm gonna do
1976,
before I go to this
just to
interview. I'm
avoid
gonna get
any,
really
liberal
fucking
media hit
stoned,
job.
and I know exactly
This
what I'm
didn't
gonna
start
say
with
at
me.
that
This
moment.
started in 1976 when whispering
He
started
looks
coming
like a
about from
burned
the
out
White
Shaggy.
House, saying that
yeah, no, I totally got Shaggy vibes. That's what I'm saying. This dude looks like he should be rolling in the Mystery Inc. van.
When this started coming about, that's when the movement began. This movement is reactionary. We really didn't start this. The government started this.
How come it took so long to get billboards up and for any of us to hear about this?
That's an excellent question. So really before the internet age, before the internet era, it was very easy to censor ideas and opinions that aren't popular and that people don't agree with. Now
Okay,
that we have
okay,
the
but
internet, there are
minus
no
what
more
his actual
book
idea
burnings,
is. That
there
is
are
a
no
true
more
statement.
censored
Yeah,
television
but
ads.
look, he's still getting exposure. So it's
Yeah.
obviously not that bad.
Yeah, it can't be that bad, but
So where does this movement go from here?
From here, we're looking to see change in legislation. We're looking to see a mass spread awareness.
Are lawmakers, though, really
What'd you
taking this
say?
seriously?
Where is
Because
this
that's a lot of
at?
people will have
What
their
state
doubts
is
and
this
have their
in?
Questions about whether or not the
I don't know, they
movement is
probably
really
said,
serious
I
or
didn't-
not.
I don't think
Yeah,
they
that's
did.
been a
They didn't
really
say the
hard
whole time.
Part of this, honestly.
Memphis. It's in Memphis,
since the
Tennessee.
bill
That's
was
where this
brought up,
is.
there's been
Are you just? Oh yeah,
Yeah,
there
I
it
can
is.
see it back there. Yeah, I was just, I'm looking back there because like they didn't say shit the whole time. I'm like, what the fuck? That makes sense. Look at,
Yeah, he looks like a swamp
dude, he's
person.
wearing sandals.
I know.
Others, though, seem to have some kind of laugh response, and
This is so
it really
fucking stupid.
pains me.
So on the website, there are t-shirts you can buy. There's
I
products
love that
you
he's
can buy.
looking
There
at them
are
like,
going to be
why
some
is
skeptics who
nobody
say, "Yeah, they're
listening
just
to
trying
me?"
sell
Why do I sound like a crazy
They're trying to
person?
make money. Where do the funds that the movement makes
Look,
from the
I understand the government has done some fucky shit, okay? I completely understand that. But you have to be on some kind of fucking crazy drug to really think they killed over 12 billion birds from 1959 to 2001, replace them with robotic birds to do surveillance on us. This is why this is false.
Granted, cool plan. You know.
Yeah.
That would.
That's a good James Bond movie.
Yeah, I'm surprised no one's thought of it before, but you know, like.
Right, how we've never heard this conspiracy theory before. Yeah, like,
I mean,
how did this one finally slip through the cracks of like crazy ass conspiracy theories? This would make Alex Jones sick.
My thing is like, my thing is like, I could follow you for a second until you bring up the pandemic.
Yeah.
Because why would they need to replace batteries or recharge them? Like, I don't know about you, BJ, but if we had a team of robotic birds out there, I would make sure they were solar paneled.
Or, you know, they have a destination where they come back and they recharge every time they're done flying.
Right,
I don't know.
Put little charging ports on branches of trees.
Seriously, like, you really think they're that stupid that they just let it go? If they did do that, You really think they're that fucking stupid that they're just like, oh, these batteries will last for 30 years. Then we change them out.
Right.
What?
People walking down the park like, oh, ain't it cute how birds just sleep standing up? Meanwhile, they're just charging. Sleep mode.
I would love to bring this dude in. Yes.
Dude, can we? I gotta.
Dude.
When was this posted?
Dude, I don't know when this was posted. You can email this dude. We will bring. If we can bring this dude on, I will bring this dude on.
They got a Facebook page, so I'm sure we could at least get a member.
Hey,
you know?
something.
Some representative.
Anything. I don't even care.
Oh, dude, that's an idea.
But here's the thing. I want to bring him on. I want to hear him out. As much as I'll laugh my ass off, I want to hear this dude out and then explain to him why his idea is insane. Okay.
That was about a year ago.
So you know what? He's still on the kick. I still believe he's as drugged out as he was back then. I'm sure he's still drugged out now.
I was gonna say I'm sure he's twice as drugged out now.
Twice as drugged out now. If we can somehow get this dude on the show, look. Understand this, man. Yes, I don't agree with anything you fucking said. Not a fucking word. Now, like I said...
Not one iota.
Not one iota. And we have been talking about a pedophilia ring on this, so don't get me wrong. We will go to the extreme when it comes to talking about shit. But my god, man. Did you get your fucking logic from, like, the Book of Mormon or something? Like, what the fuck, man? Did you go to Scientology and start, like, listening to their stupid bullshit after you gave them $1,000 to go, like, 4 ranks or some shit? Like,
right, I love that we jumped to birds and not, hey, maybe they're just tapped into our phones.
Oh, right, yeah. Like, you know, yeah, they're not tapped into our phones at all, right?
And there's cameras fucking everywhere nowadays, but...
You know, they didn't get caught, you know, with the cameras on the fucking laptops of, oh yeah, they're recording us.
Or think about how many birds get like hit by a windshield or something, you know,
hit by a baseball.
You see a dead bird on the ground, it seems to be real.
Okay, I got 2 things now. 1, I would love to show that dude the video of Randy Johnson throwing a fucking pitch and him exploding a bird. You want to tell me that's a fucking fake bird? Because the people at the game could clearly tell you that was not a robotic bird. There was definitely blood and feathers everywhere. Second off, you want to explain all the ducks I ate as a kid? Because I didn't see no goddamn robotic parts in any of those ducks I ate.
But those were preserved ducks that were the last of the long line of ducks that died in the genocide, the great genocide of ducks in 1959. But here's my thing. Here's where you would really, if you wanted to sell me, here's where you would really have me. Okay. Just say that just a fraction of them have been replaced. Say
all of them. You don't have to put an absurd number like that.
Then you really got me like, whoa, dude, you give me goosebumps.
Oh.
But
you make it believable.
Because I'm all about, you know, I'm all about Big Brother. I'm all about surveillance. I'm all about
give a good pitch, man.
Yeah, but I'm right there with you. I feel it. I feel the eyes on me. Like especially when I lived in Texas.
Oh, there's some crazy shit that
goes
on
in Texas. Texas felt like I was legit on like a base. Just felt like one big like air base or something.
Well, with especially how the people act out there.
No, it's totally.
Yeah.
Everyone's
guns
like
toting everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you are on my lawn. Isn't one of their only law is you can't shoot them in the back? Isn't that a law in Texas, or is that another state?
You know, I heard that. And like, I've heard...
Like, you can't shoot a dude in the back, but if he turns and faces you, then it's fine.
Yeah, then it's fine. I did hear that while I was out there. I heard many weird laws out there.
Or is that just like an unwritten rule that everybody just goes by, and it's just like, oh, okay. Mm-hmm. Well, oh, wait, did he turn around? Okay, all right, he's fine.
Yeah, I knew that was also around the time that I had an interest in weird laws in states. I actually knew the weird laws of this state before I moved out here, and I totally forgot them.
I don't... No, it's not in Valentine, right? There, I could be mistaken, girl. There is no law in Valentine that has anything to do with black people, right? Like an absurd law, like black people can't be out at like 9:00 or some stupid shit like that.
No.
Okay. Oh, it's a sundown town?
Well, no, not Valentine. I was trying to see if it was hers, but there's another town that I remember. It was at a previous relationship in a small town here called Pawnee City. They, and I shit you not, is still in their laws for their town. Because they only had, I think even at that time, it was like maybe 5 black people in the town when I was there.
Sounds about right.
Now, granted, they don't follow this law, because if they did, it would be really extremely fucky. But it literally says, and I looked it up, black people cannot be out past 9 o'clock in Pawnee City, Nebraska. You will be arrested on site. That is what the law says.
Yeah.
Now, granted, it's outdated as fuck, and they don't follow it anymore.
Yeah, I'm sure they don't really enforce it that much, but I'm sure there's also those.
But you know what my thought was?
Types.
But you know what my thought was to this? If you don't follow it anymore, why the fuck is it still in there?
Yeah.
Like,
just
I understand you don't follow it anymore, but why the fuck is it still in there? What, so you can have a good memory of the old days or some shit? Like, what the fuck?
Null and void.
Null and void that shit. Like, here's the thing. If you're gonna have it, and you have your little document, put a giant fucking line through it. Literally, black marker, permanent marker that shit, and just put a line right fucking through it. They did it with the fucking Constitution and shit. You know, like if you go back and look at the original one, there's a bunch of fucking shit that is just crossed the fuck out. For good reason, obviously, because you know, if we still kept a lot of that shit in nowadays.
Times change.
It'd be pretty bad.
But yeah, when I was out in Texas, dude, it really felt like eyes were always on you. And
all the time.
And I always experienced weirdest shit out there.
Was it because you were black, or was it just like just because you weren't from there?
Just, I mean, being black obviously added an extra level of sweat, but no,
not like
you
that.
could tell everyone was under. There was something in the water there. I swear to God, I never said that phrasing
ever
until I was there. I just everyone there just seemed to be under the
and you
same.
Were where? What part of Texas?
Hypnosis, huh?
What part of Texas were you in?
First I went to Ingleside, and that's where the most.
Where the fuck is that? Because I'm really ignorant.
That's that place that I told you that was only like maybe 5 miles long.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So Texas. So for Texas small
standards,
town.
yeah. Oh,
small town.
Incredibly small town. It was ridiculous. I never been in such a small place.
Until you came here.
I've been in small towns. I've been in smaller towns than this, but yeah, that was like I've never seen anything like that.
But you said you were like in a hypnosis while you were down there? Like
no, I'm saying not so much me, but I felt a heaviness here in the center of my brain.
A weird aura?
Something was weighing on top of me, and I would look around and I could see it was having the. You know what? I hate to bring this up as a reference, but this is just the best way I could put it.
What?
And it would require you to have seen the movie Trolls, the first Trolls.
Well, I definitely have.
Okay.
Definitely seen Trolls.
Well, there's that part where they go to the Bergens. I think that's what they call the Bergen town, and they're singing Clint Eastwood by Gorillaz.
Yeah.
How all the Bergens are as they're walking down the street doing their everyday lives shit. Like that's what it was in Texas for me.
Really?
Just everyone was under the same mentality. It was very strange. It actually made me think back in other places I lived in and looked at it like, you know what? Those people were living under the kind of the same mentality, but it wasn't this one.
It wasn't as bad.
Yeah, you could just and it feels so empty there. You know, it's not like
For as
here.
big as it is, like it feels empty.
At least here, if you go somewhere that feels empty, you at least got some fields to look at, some corn. You know, fucking in Texas, dude, it's nothing but just very low cut grass, just dirt, weed, grass.
Sorry. Do you see like a longhorn in the fucking dishes?
Little tumbleweeds. Yeah. But I saw the weirdest shit there that I like. Most of it I just blacked out because it was just frightening.
Like
there was just so many.
Explain to me, because I'm a Midwestern dude.
I'll give you one that still haunts me to this day, and it's just something that I know no one will ever believe. So one day in Ingleside, I stayed in this housing complex.
Okay.
Like imagine a townhome, but one level.
Okay.
So it's just a bunch of little townhomes. Everyone's got their own little shack.
It's almost like in a motel kind of
sure,
thing.
But it's all everyone's separated into their own little domain. But it's a complex of them, and it might as well not. Be, yeah. So I say that because I want to give you a picture of just how many people were outside when this happened. So I was outside. Kids are usually outside as they are.
Right.
And someone was, I don't know, maybe working on a car or something. There was a number of us outside. And being there was always I learned about chemtrails while I was there.
You know, I've heard a lot about that, and I kind of It's not that I kind of just throw it as bullshit, but there's a lot of times when I see it, and I'm like, I see it, but there's a lot of times that is just...
You just never know. It could be literally anything up there.
I know there was a lot of stories of, like, chemtrails are a lot in, like, Texas and shit.
Yeah.
But I had a friend, his name was Nick. He was super into that, and he would be to the point, like, anytime he saw a fucking plane go by, he's like, chemtrail!
That was me.
And I was like, okay, but I get it, but, like...
Yeah. I had
chill the fuck
I
out,
had
dude.
to slap myself.
That's a fucking Southwest Airlines, all right?
Yeah.
Just fucking chill out, man.
That's what it'll do to you, though, because once you dive into what it actually is, it's like, oh my god, like, how long have they been doing this to us? How many times did they do this to us a day? You know, it'll just drive you crazy. But I had to stop focusing on chemtrails anyway. But I learned about it there because the skies were just completely clear out there. And every day, every morning, there was always some plane charting a fucking chemtrail. Every morning, at the exact same time, every fucking morning. It never changed. But anyway, so I was used to seeing crazy shit in the sky. Like, that's just one of the many things I could say. But this day...
Everything's crazier in Texas.
But nothing was like this day. So I'm outside, and I bring up the chemtrails because I wanted to let you know that people were used to looking up at the sky.
Right.
So we're just looking at the sky as we normally do. We see the clouds and we're like, I wonder, is that a chemtrail or is that a storm cloud? Oh, who knows? And then this cloud starts to really build and build and build and build into what looks like a body. And then next you know, this body starts to form a face. And then that face starts to form hair. And then the body starts to get more defined, and you see arms and legs that are in like a crisscross applesauce position.
It's like some Indian
and
type shit.
There's
or something?
there's one hand, the left hand is on the chest, is almost if they were pledging allegiance just with the reverse hand, and the other one was like holding like not necessarily a peace sign, but like, you know, like a lotus palm sort of sign, like just peace, you know. And then this face and the hair finally comes through after all that. It finally comes through in the face, and it's fucking Jesus. And then the sun comes from behind it, and it's clear as day as fucking Jesus. And we're all standing there like, that's fucking Jesus. Like, do we just give up now? Mind you, this is 2011. So we're thinking, oh, the rapture's here. It's early. And then the light comes from behind him, and then next you know, another cloud just comes and just gently puts a halo above him, almost around his head. And I was just gobsmacked, dude. I got down on my knees like, who is going to believe this? I took a photo of it, but as luck would have it, I don't have that fucking phone anymore.
Of course you
don't. But yeah, I saw that. And while everybody was like, fuck, it's the rapture, oh fuck, or you know, you got the real like conspiracy theorists like, oh, it's Big Brother, oh, it's the government, they're trying to, you know, they're trying to confuse us.
They're spraying acid on us.
That's what they want you to believe. They want you to believe it's the rapture so they can come and throw us in a bunch of concentration camps. But I, on the other hand, was the lone wolf that just saw that and was like, aliens exist. Aliens are real. How do you guys not see this? Who do you think just drew that beautiful portrait of Jesus for you? Who do you think is mocking you with
that good picture?
Right.
Jesus.
I'm like, they're mocking you with this
false god that you
false
praise.
god. Yeah. So.
I mean, okay. Getting on that. Because
yes.
Aliens.
Welcome to my segue into the real matters at hand, which are the extraterrestrial. Speaking of which, real quick fun fact. Do you know who made the X-Files theme song?
No.
I'll give you a second. Come on, everybody knows this.
I'm gonna be the guy and say I don't. I should. I'm gonna feel really bad once I fucking hear who it is, and I should know. I don't. Just
BJ, I'm fucking with you. Of course you don't know.
Okay,
this.
I was gonna say.
I didn't know this until about a week ago. The person that made the X-Files theme song was actually known by a one-hit wonder that you may have heard.
Anyway. No. Are you
Put my boom boom down.
Are you fucking serious? Jim Carrey?
No. Jim Carrey did a parody of this.
Okay, I was gonna fucking say, I'm like, what?
No, this is the real song, Informer. Yeah, the dude's name is Snow. But yeah,
That's really
this guy.
He better have gotten so many royalties for that fucking one little thing he did for that show.
Oh, dude, and on top of that song, like, he's set. Like, he's got no reason to work.
You got Jim Carrey to do a parody of his fucking one-hit wonder. You're set, man.
No, that was because he was on that show in Living Color. It's a skit show.
No, yeah, but that's what I mean. Like, you got made fun of.
Oh, but Jim Carrey was a nobody then. But yeah,
in
retrospect, yes, it's cool.
I was gonna say it doesn't matter now. It helped boost Jim Carrey's career because he did that. You know what I mean? But okay.
But yes, aliens.
We have been on this topic a lot, and I mean, a lot, quite a bit on this show. Like I think there's been very few times I think on this show we haven't talked about aliens at least once. But you know it's funny. You know, and maybe people go back and listen to this years before, and they'd be like, "Oh, this is the timeline before the Pentagon actually said that aliens fucking exist." And you are hearing this right. This is not bullshit. The Pentagon during this pandemic has come out and said that yes, UFOs exist, aliens exist. They have seen and documented very many different aircrafts multiple times. Now, I don't know if this one's true, but there was one in Canada. Some higher up government official in the Canadian, whatever it is up there. Yeah. Did say that
not the prime minister, right?
No, not the prime minister. Not as far as I know, it wasn't the prime minister, but somebody higher up in the government said that there are different species of aliens. And
yes,
what was
he said 7? He said there's 7.
But what was the one that he said?
He said there's at least 7 species in the U.S. government.
Yes. That are infiltrated the U.S. government.
One of which are known as the tall whites.
Now, where the fuck did they come up with that name? Is it just because, like, most of our fucking government is ran by white people?
You know, that's what's so funny is that when we heard that originally and I said, like, look out for them tall whites, when I was thinking about a white guy or a white woman,
just
whatever.
A white dude.
But now, thinking about it, it's like, I think I'm taking it a little too literally, but I wonder if he really means, like...
actual tall white guys? Like who, though? Who's a tall white politician?
That's what I was... I was really trying to think, like, who is a tall white...
Because as far as I know, most of the politicians are usually short.
Yeah.
It's just crazy that, for the longest time, people were just like, oh, the government's just not going to say anything. They're just going to hide it forever. They've literally come out and said that aliens exist. And now Bob Lazar's story, as everybody liked to call him a fucking whistleblower, which, in my opinion, I don't really like that word, and we talked about this, like, right before. Because, like, at least for me, when you call somebody a whistleblower, I mean, you explained it to me better. But at least my perception of it at first was, like, when you call somebody a whistleblower, at least for the most part, they are actual full of shit. And they just keep trying to spew actual stuff that we know is bullshit. People still try to sit there and call Bob Lazar a whistleblower, even when this shit is proven true. That doesn't mean, that literally takes away the fact that he was ever called a whistleblower. Ever.
Yeah.
Like, yes, they can go like, ex-whistleblower.
It rewrites history.
It does, and it's like, you can't call him an ex-whistleblower because he was telling the fucking truth from the fucking start when he gave that interview in 1989. And he has said the same exact stuff as he did back then. Now, he has never changed the story once. He's never benefited off of telling the story. He literally went on Rogan's podcast, and you know what he does when he gets any kind of money in any state that he's in for talking about this? He donates it to a school's science program. He donates it to the school for their science. He doesn't take any money from this. So all the people who are trying to say he's full of crap, how is he full of shit? He's not benefiting off of this. He has benefited off of this for the last 30 some odd years. And for fuck's sake, his own history is erased. There's no document, except for one directory that has his name saying he worked at Los Alamos. There's no history of that. There's no history of him going to any of the universities he went to. There's none of that shit. Why would he lie? What's the fucking point?
And they tried to discredit him
all the fucking time. And he still, to this day, it's like, no, it's, and look, I'm not saying that I have seen exactly what he's seen. I haven't. But from the interview I saw, he wasn't talking out of his ass. The only thing that get him on is, oh, well, he stopped every now and then during the interview. He said in the interview he was having migraines. They made that apparent on the fucking show before it started, that Bob was having migraines before the show because of the tremendous amount of stress he was going through being on the show in the fucking first place. That's like that. Joe Rogan's thing was the most exposure he has ever gotten, literally, about his story. Do you know, I could imagine being in his shoes. Do you know how nerve-wracking it would be? And granted, he knows he's not full of shit, but how nerve-wracking it would be to try to tell your story and knowing that millions of people are going to hear it and you do want people to know about it, but at the same time, there's going to be a great amount of people that are going to come at you being like, you're full of shit still.
Yeah, but I'm sure he's used to it.
Oh, I know he's used to it now. And I mean, you go watch the Netflix special, he's made it very apparent. He's like, look, like, I want to be left alone, to be honest. He's said it for many years. He's like, I want to be left alone. The information I came out and told you guys, it's all true. Leave me alone. Like, he doesn't want any part of it. He's got his own little lab going on, and he's got his own good life going. He doesn't give a fuck about making any good, you know, trying to benefit off of it. He gives no shits. It's very apparent. And the fact that people keep giving him shit, keep doing it, and I'm like, leave the poor fucking man alone. Like, fuck. Sorry that our government's fucky and you finally you finally are told that, oh yeah, government is holding a lot of shit. So maybe that Bob was saying that they have like 7 fucking different aircrafts and he worked on one is not so far out of the fucking realm. It's probably not. Like, if he can still tell you the propulsion, like, not tell you exactly, but he can still recollect the propulsion system, the stuff that he saw inside the aircraft. Like, again, this stuff was not wired. There was no wire to these things.
Now, is that the number 7? Is
No.
that the definite number? Oh, okay.
No,
I was about to say.
At least
7,
from what he told, from what
7 species in the U.S. government.
No,
it's all clicking.
From what Bob was saying, when the time that he was there, he saw, at least from what he said, 7 different aircrafts, because there was a time when the hangar opened up and he got to see a peek in there, and there were, at least the one counting his, 7 different crafts, and then none of them looked the same. And there was one that looked like it actually had some kind of damage to it. Whether it was a missile or something to that effect, there was one that actually looked like there was some significant damage to one of the ships. Yeah. But he only got to work on the one.
Right.
And again, I mean, granted, it's old 1980s film, and I don't know if it is out on YouTube or whatever, and if you can go find it. He took his friends out there to show them the test flights of what he was working on. Now, granted, this is at the end of before he got fired from, I think it was Section 4, I think it was called, from where he was working in. Mm-hmm. He took him out there for like 3 weeks and video recorded this shit, showed them the patterns, showed them like, oh look, this is the movements that we're doing, this is what I'm working on. Because eventually, even back then, he was like, yeah, I want to tell people. This is something that people need to know. And for this reason alone, he's even said they're trying to reverse engineer it to use the technology for war. Like, and that should be apparent. You know what I mean? Like, yes, they have it, and they can't figure it out. And I don't believe that they'll be able to figure this out for like at least a good another 100 years. Easily another 100 years, because we're nowhere fucking close to this technology. We are just starting to figure out how to have jets take off without, going off a runway. We are just starting to figure that out. Now, I don't know how far it is, but it's definitely not to the point of it can just shoot up in the air like 0 to 60 real fucking quick and then just take off. Mm-hmm. We don't have anything like that.
That's what I'm saying. Like, imagine, if you will, a species that never wasted its time with, I don't know, murders, racism, and an economy. Like a stress-free species that's been stress-free for centuries. Of course they could develop a tech of some kind that could bend space and time and go the speed of light or faster than the speed of light.
Well, right.
You know, or bend gravity, whatever they say that they're using.
Yeah, and it's like the thing of, you know, it's that classical thing again, and we have talked about it on this, like how people say that we're the only things out there. And it's like, how is it far out of the realm that there is a species, maybe not like us, but has the same mindset of, you know, technology-wise, all that stuff, and they're just farther ahead than we are? But it's like, how is that far out of the realm? How are we the smartest things in this fucking galaxy, and we're killing our planet? How can we be the smartest things out there, and we don't even know how to, like, not fuck up our planet?
Exactly. Kelly, what's your stance on all of this?
Right. You need to talk a little bit. I mean, we have a story, and I'll let her tell the story of what we saw. Yeah.
Yeah, I do believe aliens are real. I mean,
It's because you're a smart one.
like I said, we saw one or three. Was it three?
Yeah. I mean, from what we saw 3 balls of light, and they're just white balls of light. Now, the thing was, when we saw it at first, it was all one. It was all, from what we saw, it was all one ship. And then this thing in the middle of the air, and I have said this, we were smoking. I get it. We were fucking smoking weed. But we were not hallucinating. I guarantee you we weren't, because again, I have never smoked weed to the point I'm gonna start hallucinating, seeing shit in the sky, because I don't get lace shit.
Yeah.
Right.
But yeah, this thing stops in mid-air, and I didn't think about this at the time, but now thinking about it, the 3 balls of light were like 3 different parts of this, like 3 parts of parts of this aircraft, and because all 3 of these lights went in, split up and went in different directions, and went faster than anything I've ever seen plane, but anything.
Well, didn't they, like, one go off and then came back? I remember that.
Yes, there was 2 that split off, and then one flew off, and then it seemed to come back, and then as fast as it went back, or went the other way, it flew way back, and it just went right past us.
I believe you guys.
Like, it...
You actually just reminded me of another one of those tales from Ingleside, Texas, where, like, it was lights in the sky. There was 2 of them. One was above the other, and the one on the bottom kept either moving up and down vertically or left to right horizontally in a perfect line.
With, like, no stopping. No, like...
And, like, it would stop for whatever reason, but like, it was precise. Like,
it would
there's
make it turn
nothing...
like a plane would, and,
right.
like, have to go
yeah.
around.
No, there was definitely no turning. Like, you could see, like, the lights just stayed as bright as they were. There was no, like, flicker of a turn or something.
Yeah.
It's just... There's just one that's just, I don't know, it's just stuck up there. It's just stationed up there. I don't know what the fuck is up. Like, I don't see how it's sustaining up there,
Right.
but
You're just staying like
I don't know if it's even connected to the one below it, and it's like maybe swinging something. I don't know. Maybe they're scanning. I don't fucking know. All I know is that shit was weird, and it was like that for like a whole week. Like, and then it just disappeared.
It just stayed there for a week?
It stayed there for a week and did the same shit every night. It fucking... And it wasn't like a thing where it sat there during the day, and it wasn't like the moment it turned to night, you saw it. It showed up around the same time at night.
Every time?
Yeah, like around, like, it was like really late, like going on midnight, and probably assuming everyone's asleep or something.
Right.
Like, it's just crazy how it was just perfect up and down, or perfect left to right. Never seen anything like it.
And see, it's just stuff like that, you know, because it's again, as far as I know, anything military we have around the world, and not even just excluding the U.S., I'm talking everywhere, there is nothing military-wise in any military that can do that. There's nothing we have. Nothing. Like, there's nothing that can stop, like you said, on a dime, and if it's a plane, it can't just go right back up. And especially if it's going to make a turn to, like you say, going horizontal like that, a plane has to make a wraparound to even go back the other way. It can't just stop, spin, and go the other way. That beats the law. That defies the laws of physics as we know it.
And it was up high, dude. Like that shit was
it's not
in.
just like 1,000 feet in the air. It's
Yes. Yeah. I didn't hear any propulsion system of any kind, any propeller, none of that shit.
And neither did we. That's the crazy thing. We didn't hear anything.
Dead silent. That's
Dead
what
fucking
spooked me
silent.
the most about it. That was the most eerie thing about it. Is just like to see something shift in the sky without a sound. Like, how do you not break in the sound barrier?
Right.
Like, what?
Ours was not as high. Ours would be what a regular plane would fly at, you would say. And normally a plane at that height, you will hear it. We didn't hear a fucking sound.
Now, see...
Even when it broke apart, we heard nothing.
Yeah. Now, see, you guys aren't alone as far as that level of flight. Like, the fact that it was, like, practically above your heads.
Yeah, it's like a regular plane flying. Or like... It would be more like a plane, like, descending, but it's not, like, to the point where you can see it, you know, clearly, but you can see it would be, like, descending. You can still kind of see it pretty well. It's not, like, all the way the fuck up in the air.
Like 2 or 3 years back, I saw videos of stuff like that in, like, different places in the world, like France, Norway, where it was legit, like, early in the morning, too. It was like maybe the crack of dawn, like maybe 5 or something in the morning, and people are just out in the street, probably going on, heading out the door to go to work, and they just see these orbs of light just whiz by above them. There was different aspects, there was different angles from people who lived in that neighborhood or street or whatever that was showing like, no, this shit is real. Like, this shit flew over me, son.
Right.
And I was trying to find it so I could show you guys, but unfortunately I couldn't find it. But what I did find was something, again, with lights in Norway.
Really?
I don't know what year this was, but I'd imagine it was pretty recent. But check this shit out.
Okay, let's see what we got here. Okay, so... What?
Do you see that?
Dude, it's a swirling vortex. What the hell?
Like, tell me that's not like the lights that you see. But it's like...
Did you see that? It turned into like a black hole at the end.
Yeah. But the way that light looks, it looks like the same kind of energy almost, like the same kind of light, like the same kind of brightness. Like, I don't know how to explain it, but like that's kind of the type of shit that I've seen.
But you know what that really reminds me of? You know when you whenever we were learning about astronomy and shit like that, and they would show us like a galaxy.
Ooh.
That's what it looks like. It's like when you look into a galaxy and you see the center of it.
Right.
That's what it looks like.
A portal.
Yes.
A black hole, like you said.
Dude, because literally at the end, it changes from light and it turns into just black.
Yeah.
Like that's insane. You remember Chicken Little?
Of course.
So
yes, I already know where you're going with this.
So if anybody hasn't watched Chicken Little, as much as the story is like, oh, aliens, whatever the fuck, these aliens in the movie have this ability to where they can cloak their ship underneath it, and it literally looks like the sky. And then when you see like the one pop out of the sky, you're like, oh. And Bob Lazar says the ship that he worked on had that ability. That he literally stood underneath it, and all he saw was the sky.
And thank you for bringing that up, because that has also been a theory of mine. What if these lights that we're seeing is really these crafts? They're just cloaked. They're just in some kind of disguise or camouflage mode, and they just can't. They haven't figured out how to disguise the lights.
What Bob,
you know what I'm saying?
Yes, and what Bob said, actually, this one does bend light, and that's how it made that.
Or
effect.
that too, right?
It bends the light around it, and it makes.
Because like I was saying, they would have to, in order to travel here, they have to be flying at the speed of light, if not faster. Then.
Yeah, right. You remember we talked about this in the car when we were on break at work, because we do that quite a bit. We have our little discussions and shit.
Deep dive breaks.
Yes, and for only 20 minutes. So it'd be like a power, it's like a power nap in a way, but we just try to bounce ideas off of each other. But it was like
a passionate powwow, I like to call it.
But like, you know, anybody who's like been interested in jets and all that stuff, there's that famous photo, and everybody knows it, of that one jet that breaks the sound barrier. And you see the little white ring around it. That's the sound barrier being broken.
Yes.
That compared to what these things do is fucking child's play. The thing that the other thing I was gonna bring up, Commander Fravor.
Yeah.
Incredible, and you know, I have given the military shit. I have on this show, and nothing against the military. There are good people in it, like this guy, Commander Fravor. He in 2004, 2005 was on a. They were doing just a drill, just to go out, you know, and as you know, just stay sharp and do drills and stuff like that. They pick up the famous Tic Tac, that everybody knows of. Now, a lot of people had tried to discredit Commander Fravor on like, oh, what they saw was just like a bird, all this crap. I have watched the video. I have seen it. That's not a bird. There's no fucking way in hell, and I understand this is too early 2000s, so I get it. The technology to, you know, really have good picture even on infrared was not that great.
Again, doing weird aerobatics, like,
and then
how are you moving like that?
Dude, nothing moves like that, and then it just flies off screen. Like, it's nothing. And mind you, these planes are going at least 200 to 300 miles an hour.
Yeah.
And this thing is...
Dude, it makes you think if, like, when you see it, you think, like, the Matrix is glitching or something. Like, something's, like...
that fucking bird.
Yeah. Like, something is fucked up. Like, it should have been on its merry way, but for whatever reason, it can't move, and you're seeing between the lines of the universe.
Right.
But no, and then it just zips away, and it's like, oh, shit, that was...
Right.
That was an enlightened fucking being.
I want to stay on the alien thing, but I want to get to that. I just want to talk about that bird that was glitched in the Matrix thing. Now, I don't know whether it's fake or not. I don't know if anybody's come out and said whether that video is fake or not. It seemed pretty compelling to me. I don't normally like to sit and like watch those kind of videos because most of the shit's kind of bullshit. Whatever this dude did looked fucking compelling to me. This bird is literally in midair, and it's not like he just stays on it. He goes down to the street. People are moving down there. There's cars and bikes and people walking around, and he goes back up. The bird's still there. Now again, I don't know if it's fake or not. If it comes out as fake, then okay, they got me. But you know who's gonna have a field day now? The fucking people who say this is a simulation. And I know we've toyed with the idea of it. We talked about it with Nick on the podcast and all that shit. You know, it's not out of the realm. But with that kind of shit,
they are loving the fact that the Pentagon admitted that aliens are a thing because
then it brings more of this kind of shit.
Then they're like, oh, see, they're the ones running the simulation.
Right. Yeah, but if this is a simulation, our government's not the one running it. You understand that, right?
Yes, that is comforting to know.
You know what I mean? Like, our government's not the one. If this is truly a simulation and this is all just bullshit.
How about let's take simulation out and let's put in experiment.
Okay.
How about that?
Okay.
We'll say experiment.
Okay. Just so people are like, what if this experiment is ran by something that is beyond our plane of existence? Let's just throw this out there. It's way beyond our plane of existence that we can't comprehend because it's like on some, let's just say, 5th, 6th dimension that we have no comprehension of and have no idea how to even tap into it. Why wouldn't he want to just cause some kind of chaos like this? If it's an experiment and you're trying to, I don't know, see how things react to mass panic.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, is this not what you would do?
Yeah, apply a little pressure.
Apply a little pressure, see how the humanity you made do.
See if they'll crack.
In a time of crisis. Like, it's... You know, we sound crazy. You know, you sound crazy. Anybody who talks about this shit will sound crazy. Even if you're Elon Musk and you're the smartest person in the fucking world, you sound crazy talking about this kind of stuff.
Right, you do.
But, you know, I mean, let's even pull towards the fucking Matrix movies. Like, yes, those movies were very out there and just, you know, it in some ways was fantasy. But it does also kind of bring up the whole simulation thing. I mean, again, let's say if this is an experiment, stop saying simulation. Let's say if this is an experiment. If you could somehow tap into it, you probably could do shit like that.
Exactly. That's why I brought up, like, imagine a species that didn't waste their time with any fucking superficial bullshit. And they were able to utilize all the power they have in their brain.
Right. The classic gray alien, what do we think of? It's a small, slender humanoid with a big brain.
Big brain.
But let's also think of it this way. When, you know, if we're going to go off of our history when we were Neanderthals and all that shit. Neanderthals back at the time, I'm sure, were very, very muscular built and strong because they needed it at the time. They were hunter-gatherers. They weren't really using their brain as much. But as we're going along with evolution, what has happened? Now, granted, there are people who are still very strong and go and do that stuff. But what has happened to the human mind from, what has happened with our evolution? A lot of what we do now is more brain function. It's not going off a straight brute force and brutality. We're doing a lot more stuff with our brain. So why would it be out of the realm that another species would do something like that and find out a way to not, because they always say they don't have any any genitalia of any kind.
Yeah.
So what if a species stopped having to learn how to reproduce or stopped having to do reproduction in any form?
Sure. Asexual.
Then be asexual. Then on top of that, learn that you don't always have to do stuff with brute force, and your mind with let's say the crafts that they have, it can move at ridiculous fucking speeds. You know how smart you have to be to figure out anything like that? And with the brain size that they have, it's more of just a brain capacity. So you start losing muscle mass and stuff like that because your body's like, okay, I don't need to use muscles and stuff. If I'm this smart and I can do stuff that does not require any physical effort whatsoever, why would I need these muscles? So it's like their body is transforming into that way, and it's like, how is it out of the realm that we wouldn't do the same thing? Like I said, our apes and gorillas nowadays are going through their own Stone Age, which is fucking insane because we went through the same thing 100 million years ago. Now they're going through the same thing. So why is it out of the realm that that's not going to be another species of, let's say, human? Let's say that the orangutans and stuff nowadays will turn into some different kind of form of human. It's the same thing with aliens out there. Why is that out of the realm of?
That's what I'm saying. Like, I really think, that's why I think there's power in the brain that can take you to other dimensions. That's why DMT takes you somewhere. Our brains are capable of that. We don't use those parts of the brain, and that's why those drugs, if you want to label them as such, awaken those parts.
What if somebody can really tap into more of the brain power? What could you possibly do? Now, I'm not saying necessarily you could be telekinetic and start moving shit necessarily, because we don't know if that's actually a thing and can do that. But let's say, what if you could? Because you have the brain power now. The brain is such a powerful thing. The fact that you only use 10% is mind-boggling at best.
It's all still here. Everything you've experienced, everything you've ever said or done is still in here. And that's why,
even if it's a vague memory,
I think there's something in, come on, we're all human. You've had regrets, right? You ever had a regret that you think about? You think about what could have been done differently so many times that sometimes it kind of feels real. It feels like you actually
you made the change,
reconciled. Yeah, it was something. I don't know. I feel like there's something in that.
No,
I feel like
I get what you mean, because I've had it a few times where something that I've done and then I have regret about it. I'm like, fuck, what should I have done different? And then eventually I get to a point where I'm like, I probably should have done that. And you know what? I'm fine. I'm good with it now.
Because I'll tell you what, this I'm gonna sound crazy, but these last
we sound crazy the whole time on this podcast.
This whole podcast has been crazy.
I think good crazy is we're way past that.
These last few trips, I've been really thinking it really is the past, present, and future living simultaneously. Where when you're reflecting on something in the past or dwelling on something in the past like that, and you correct it in your head, that's you correcting it for your past self. That's living that day or that moment in that strand of time, in that blip of time. You're not aware of it.
You just can't tell them.
Yeah, you can't tell them, and you're not feeling the effects of it because you're not there. But I think if you think of something and you think how something could have gone better, I think if you really truly believe or really give it that much thought, I think you can have somewhat of a weird effect in the possibilities of all the alternate timelines or something. And the same thing with the future, when you look towards the future, how I hate to bring it up, but The Secret. Have you heard about The Secret?
The Secret.
The Secret.
Elaborate, I may have.
The Secret is apparently there is a secret, BJ, of the universe, and if you just think about what you want in life over and over and over again,
it'll happen.
You'll get it because you thought it up, and that's the secret.
Hey, you know what that sounds like? A fucking millennial idea.
But it's not. It's actually a highly acclaimed book that was made into a movie, and now has a new movie that's coming out like this month or so.
What the fuck
anyway,
is the movie called?
The Secret.
Oh my fucking god.
Yeah, there's a collection of folks who believe in that and say what it did for their lives. And you'll have like a story where some guy said when I was in my early 20s, I wanted to just I wanted this house, this specific house that I had seen in like an ad or something, and it was a completely different city, and I just always dreamed about this house. And then life happened, 20 or so years later, I'm a dad, I'm married, and I'm tying my son's shoes, and my son hands me a photo and says, "Daddy, I found this in a box. Is this yours?" And I saw the photo and I break down crying because it was the house that I dreamed of, and I'm living in that house now.
Oh, okay. So let me ask you this: is it just because you really wanted the house that you worked hard to finally get the fucking house, or was it just because you think it fucking works like that?
That's what's so stupid is that
doesn't make any fucking sense at all.
If you think of something so obsessively, then you're going to do whatever you can to get it.
Did he just realize in that moment that he's living in the fucking he didn't think of it when he fucking came up to the house? Was like, oh yeah, this is the house I wanted to live.
I know, that's why that was like
What?
one of the stories that stuck with me, because that was the most laughable thing to me. I'm like, how the fuck were you living in this house and didn't even realize
Until
that
your
it was
son
the house
gave
that
you a
wanted?
picture. And were you so obsessed that you printed off a picture of the house you wanted forever so you could go back and be at it like, yes.
Yeah, that was the thing. He
Got
had a
it.
photograph of the house, and he
That's
just
so-
always used it as a reminder to that he'll be in that house one day.
I can understand, getting your dream house. I understand that. But the way you fucking put it, dude, it just sounds like every other fucking person who finally realizes, yes, I got my own dream. That's not because you thought about it 20 years ago. It's because you had the thought, and it was like, how do I get there? How do I get that fucking house?
But his whole thing was I had been so busy living that I didn't realize that I achieved that dream.
That's what your brain fucking does.
Exactly,
It's multi-fucking tax,
BJ.
you
Thank
dipshit.
you. I don't know what is wrong with people.
Your mind can have oh yes, I should be doing this, and you could not even fucking know it. It's subconscious.
Dude, it is proven that if you repeat something 16 times in a row, it'll be recorded to memory.
Yes. It's...
And then, if you therefore forget that, guess what? It's stored in your subconscious. Always.
Don't get me wrong. I've thought of many houses I would like to fucking have. Do I think I'm gonna own T.I.'s house at some fucking point? No! Because that's a fucking absurd goal of mine.
I'm just
If
saying.
I get to that point, cool. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna be that dude who gives an Instagram picture and be like, "Hey, Ti, taking good care of your house, man."
Yeah, I'm just saying, whatever. It all sticks with you, whether you are conscious of it or not. Anything that you hope, dream, fear, whatever, it's always there. What's that stuff called?
Ayahuasca?
Ayahuasca, thank you.
The really trippy fucking DMT shit?
I remember somebody was on Joe's podcast and they were saying how they had a friend do ayahuasca, and they were...
Wasn't it Alex Jones?
No.
I think he said he's done it before, though.
It wouldn't surprise me. But he was saying that the dude that was on the show had done it a few times, so he was having his buddy do it for the first time, and like 5 minutes into it, he started compulsing and choking, and they were thinking he was having a seizure or something, or overdosing, and then once he finally snapped out of it.
I do know who you're doing.
I know you saw this one.
Was he an explorer?
I'm pretty sure we watched it together. Yes.
Yes. He was the explorer who goes and tries to find exotic animals that that people think are extinct.
Yep.
Yes, I know exactly what you're talking
And he said
about.
when his buddy came to, he was like, "Hey, dude, you were choking or whatever. You all right? What was that all about?" And he said it was he had gone back into a memory of being in the womb and choking on the umbilical cord.
Yeah. With some
Because
crazy shit
it's
like that.
always there.
Yeah.
Everything, even what you experience in the womb, the things that you hear in the womb. There's a reason why you come out and you're cool with your moms and your pops and whoever's there for you, because you hear them when you're in the womb.
What wasn't it? Because I think it was the shaman they went to said they had to do it so they'd be cleansed. Their souls would be cleansed of of any impurities. Because I think it was some. I want to say it was some sacred place that they were going to.
Oh,
to
before
try
they
to
do
find
it?
animals.
Yeah.
And that's why they had to take the ayahuasca.
Yeah, that's how you should do it.
Right. Get the demons out. That's a demon killer fucking anything. I've heard nothing of just like every time you do it, you feel. I think from what I've heard, most people when they describe saying they do it, they feel like a weight's lifted off of them after they've done it. You know what I mean? Like they don't feel any anxiety or like they feel completely fine. Now the trip could definitely look like they'd be dying
because you work so much shit out in your head that you didn't even know you needed to work out. You thought you were stressing about shit, but you didn't realize it was about how much things you were holding on to.
And that's why people tell you to always be in a good mindset when you do acid, or at least be in a clear mindset when you do acid, because if you're not...
I was just about to say, the first time I did acid, that's what I learned. I was like, holy shit, dude, I've been carrying all this unnecessary weight, like childhood trauma and shit. Like, dude, just drop it, and it'll be for the better.
Sometimes people can't drop that shit.
No, I will not lie. It's easy to do that on acid.
Yes.
It's very just like it's very easy to succumb to your old ways when you're not on it
Everything
anymore.
Is easy to do on acid.
Oh yeah, dude. You could, you could change everything about yourself.
We'll get back to aliens here in a second because we've been very sidetracked. But there is a funny.
It's my show, goddammit.
It's our show, goddammit. But...
Oh yes. How rude of me.
But I just going off of when you do acid, and especially if there's something in your brain that has been fucking with you, it will come out when you do acid. This is a classic example.
Yes.
I was doing acid with my friends, and at first the acid trip was alright, but then it got to a point where I couldn't look at a fucking TV screen. Like, I was playing a MOBA. If anybody knows this MOBA, it was called Paragon back in the day. And if most MOBAs, when it comes to even League of Legends, Dota, any shit like that, most matches, a lot of matches can sometimes last about 40 to 50 fucking minutes. So it's it's a very long fucking match. I had to stop 10 minutes in because I could not look at the screen. My eyes were just, it hurt. It hurt so much to look at the screen. And then, as acid goes on, you start getting fucking paranoid and shit, especially if you're on a bad trip, and that's what I was. I knew people were fucking talking shit on me, but then I would just sound fucking crazy, because I was in, our kitchen area, and they were in the fucking room, and then I would just hear them down the hall, and I was like, I know you're fucking talking about me! And they would just all fucking laugh, and it would just piss me off more, and I'm like, fuck, yes, they're not talking about me, god damn it! And, and eventually, as you do, you get in your own fucking thoughts, and at the time, there was this girl that I was trying to get with, and at the time, I was like, man, I don't know if she wants, if she wants to date or whatever. So my fucking just out of my mind ass decided it was a great idea to fucking call her on acid. And I mean, deep into a bad trip. I still remember, I don't know what the fuck I was trying to get her to say, but there was many times where I was just she was just like, I don't know what the hell you want me to say.
Yeah.
And then she'd say it, she said it 4 fucking times, and I don't know what I was saying. I'm pretty sure I was just talking straight gibberish. It was making no fucking sense to her. But after that, she stopped talking to me.
But yeah, it does
because it was bothering me so much. It was I wanted an answer.
Yeah.
And because I wanted an answer so bad, I fucked it up.
Yep. That's what it'll do to you. You'll get hung up on something no, I need you to say something.
Yeah.
I need you to say what I'm wanting you to say.
And you're not fucking saying it.
And I'm not getting off this phone until you do.
That's pretty much how it was. And I was holding my hand in my head, my head in my hand, because I was having a terrible fucking headache at the same time, trying to talk to her. It was so bad. It was just such an awful fucking trip.
Not a fun night.
The way it ended was this is 1 to 2 o'clock in the morning, and my other friends are about coming down off of tripping, so we decided to just sit and watch a 9-hour thing of most funniest vines ever. That's how we ended our fucking trip.
Damn, dude. That sucks.
It calmed me down, honestly, because everything had been so hectic that whole night. It was the most calming thing the whole time.
Cleared your mind.
And I was funny.
But that's it, though. It really does. That's what I'm saying. The first time you do it, it's going to make you confront things that you didn't know you needed to confront, because it opens up parts of your brain that you didn't realize you were shutting out.
First
to
time,
focus
I
on
can
the
believe
everyday, mundane, activity.
Yeah. This wasn't the first time I had done it. I think it's this was around the time where I had done it more than just once a year, because that's usually what I kind of keep it at. I don't do it every once a year, but if the opportunity comes up, a year. I'll be like, okay, all right, yeah, I'll do it. This is the one time I do it a year, and then I'll wait for another year. But this is around the time I was doing it like every 2 weeks or something shit like that. I took too much. That's why this shit was happening. I took way too much. I was overconfident in myself. I was like, oh, I could fucking do it. I could take more. I know I could do it. No, I could not. I know my limit now. It's not going past 3. That's my limit. I can't go past 3 tabs. If I go past 3 tabs, I lose it. It's so bad. I mean, you saw me like the one time I did it with you. I was.
You were on 2.
I was on 2,
and I was on 1.
and I was sitting there playing fucking
Wolfenstein
all night. It was the new one that came out on the PS4.
And you weren't playing Wolfenstein. You were living Wolfenstein.
I was living Wolfenstein. I was reading every little bit of
information.
We
did not exist to you. Every time we tried to talk to you, you would treat us like we were disturbing you.
Yes,
like,
you were.
From an important mission. And we're like all chilling, just watching you play the game. Hey, BJ, you want to like come and, interact with us? And you're like, what? No. You know what I really want to do? I want to fuck right now. That's what I want to do. And we're like, oh, okay, man.
I do remember saying.
And then you would say something crazy like that, and then you would sit back down, you would pick up the controller, and you would just sit there and read all the stuff from the start menu. From the pause menu, he would go into like the little journals and the logs and read about the enemies and the little diary entries. Like, okay, Colonel Jackson says that he wants me to. I'm like, BJ, brother, you could be doing so much more with this. You have the power. And you don't even know it.
How long was I doing? I did it from like 10 at night to like, it had to be early in the morning.
Yeah, we stayed there all night.
6 to 7 o'clock in the morning straight.
We stayed at our buddy's apartment all night. He was not on acid. Him and his roommates were sober, and it was in bed. It was pretty funny. It was pretty funny because you would have never guessed I was on acid, but BJ on the other hand. You were scaring people, dude. People were legit terrified of you.
Oh my
because
God.
There was a few guys there who had never met you before, and they didn't know what they thought. You were just like some meathead who was looking for a fight. You were just so aggressive for no reason, but it was the game taking it out of you, and I could see the game was pulling it out of you. And plus, I'm on acids and I know what it's like, and I'm like, okay, I could see where he's at. He's in the game. There's no reasoning with him.
Oh, Jesus Christ!
But
she's never heard that story. This is Kelly's first time ever hearing this acid story.
Oh, it's not the most flattering tale.
No, it's not.
And that was just the summarized version, But yeah, so.
And then I did it a second time there, and it was much better. We played Smash Bros, and it was a lot more fun.
It was a lot of fun.
It was a lot more fun. There wasn't all the other same people. It was like less people, but I think there was like
nice. That helped.
There was one chick, I think,
I think that's why you excluded yourself, because we pretty much took up the whole sectional couch. But there was that many people that we were on a sectional.
That's what it was. I went over there and played that because there was nowhere to sit.
That's
over
right.
there, and you guys were playing the Nintendo 64 Smash Brothers.
Yeah.
And I was trying to get in and play, but I was like, man, you know what? Fuck this. I'm gonna go play another game. And that's why I was over there intensely playing that shit the whole time, even after people left.
And see, we didn't want you to feel like we were pushing you away.
Yeah.
Like we were totally ready to give up a seat or two in order to just get you to hang out with us.
Okay.
It was just sad.
It was sad, but you know what? That's why you experiment and do it every now and then, so you know what to do and not to do while you're on acid.
Exactly. Live and you learn.
You do. But okay, so back to the aliens thing, because we got very off topic.
Okay, so glowing lights. Can I speak on glowing lights again?
Yes, go ahead. Yes.
There was a glowing object caught on a NASA live stream.
Recently?
Yeah.
Didn't the NASA program get shut down again?
They're always getting shut down, dude. But this was posted January 15th of this year.
Really?
So this is recent.
January 15th. Wow. Literally at the start of the fucking year. Where is this at?
It's in space.
Oh, in space.
It blows by the International Space Station.
Jesus Christ, really? Huh. Okay, here we go.
See that? You see that?
Whoa!
Tell me that's not what we've seen.
Okay, go back.
Oh, it's gonna give you an instant replay.
Oh. Or is it just... Oh.
It's reversing it.
Oh, okay. I was like, what? Did you just sit there in midair? That's crazy. See,
and it came from all the way down here, too.
That's exactly.
I don't know if you saw that. Oh, look, it's bringing it all the way back. Look.
Yeah. Look how fast that thing fucking moved. I mean, now, granted, this is just being.
But still, look, they're they're trying to keep up with it.
Right, and they can't.
That is not a shooting star, a comet, or none of that. That's not a meteor. Look at that shit. That looks like a fucking, that looks like a star.
Right.
But stars don't look like that when you're that close to them.
And they shouldn't move like that. You know what I mean? If you're seeing a star move like that, you are on some trippy fucking drugs.
Speaking of trippy fucking drugs, this looks like some shit I would have hallucinated, but no, it's real.
What did it
This is a black cube that is orbiting around the sun.
No, yes.
This was posted July 30th.
Commander Fravor actually, he said there's a lot of like pilots and other pilots who said they see shit like this, but it's like there's a sphere and then there's a cube inside of the sphere.
What?
Or wait, no. Wait, I have that backwards.
Go ahead.
There's a cube and then there's a sphere inside of the cube.
Okay.
So
that
like
makes
the
more
cube
sense.
is more of like the body, and then the sphere and the inside is probably like, where they
sit. Yeah. Dude.
Yeah, that actually makes some fucking sense because they actually have talked about that before. Fravor talks about it with Joe that they have seen stuff like this. Credible fucking pilots have seen this shit. I'm pretty sure it was over fucking California.
Really?
I believe so. I could be completely fucking wrong, but I'm pretty sure it was in California, and people on the beach were seeing this shit too. But so this was January, just about.
July.
July. This was July.
This video was January. We're talking about the cube.
Right. So the cube was in July.
July 30th. The discovery led to claims of a possible UFO cover-up by NASA. According to conspiracy theorists and UFO hunter Scott C. Waring, the black cube makes frequent appearances near the sun. Mr. Waring shared photos of the black cube to his blog UFO Sightings Daily.
Does it look rigid to you in that picture? Like, do you see that? Like,
well, check this out. The UFO hunter said this cube was caught between the Soho satellite and the sun. The cube has been seen before off and on. And sometimes it's seen in 3 dimensions, and other times, like this, just 2. So that tells me it's shifting shape, buddy.
Yeah. And again,
which goes along with your inner sphere theory. That's, yeah.
But again, that also leads to my thing of, if they have the literal technology,
and look at how close it is to the sun,
fly near the fucking sun, that, as far as we know, will burn anything that gets fucking close to it. As much as we believe that this stuff is true, and I will believe until the day I die that yes, aliens fucking exist. Again, with the Pentagon coming out and pretty much fucking verifying it, there's no way that they don't fucking exist. If they come out and say that it was bullshit, I'm gonna be like, okay, fuck you guys. But this is another theory that some people have thrown out there. What if that we were put here because, in ancient texts like Egyptians, even the Mayans, and I'm missing a lot of them, but there are a lot of ancient cultures that have what seems to be like humanoid alien people coming down on, like, would it be fireball, meteors, or a ship of some kind. It's even in a Catholic painting. There's a Catholic painting where they shows Jesus and the 12 disciples, but then in the sky there are 2 what look to be like fucking fireballs, and I don't know if it's supposed to be like quote unquote angels, but these things are in fireballs flying through the fucking sky. Why would that be a depiction of an angel? Because in any angel I've ever seen in Catholicism, they're flying down with wings and shit. Like, it's not they're coming down on a fireball or some shit like that, which leads me to believe this, that even back in that time, they were being visited by shit like this. I feel like this shit has been going on for not since the 1950s. It's been going on our entire existence, and we've recorded it, but at the same time, us being, we don't necessarily believe everything we see. We just kind of take it as, oh, well, they were savages and shit. We don't know what they're fucking taught. They
would explain the large skip in evolution.
Exactly.
For sure.
Like, what if we were what if we were put here by another species of aliens, and like you said, it's an experiment, and we're like, this is the product of what they did however long ago it was.
It would explain just like how much we differentiate from animals.
Even look at these past 100 years.
Even though we have animalistic
Right.
qualities to our, there's some other element within us that's like unlike anything else on this planet.
Right, but even look at this past 100 years. I guess now it would be 1920s.
Mm-hmm.
Look at the technology was then to now. That's a 100-year jump. To consider how quick that we changed our technology in a short amount of time. Yeah. It's not like we stuck with anything for very long. We stuck for something for maybe of all of 20 years, and then we switched and flipped to something else.
Yeah. And granted, I think...
Till where we are now.
I think we would have been even more advanced than where we are now had we gone with Tesla's pure energy route, but yes.
Right, back in the 1900s.
Yes, but given the route we took, in the past like fucking 10 to 20 years, look at how much it's changed.
And when it comes to the aliens, like, visiting and such shit, it's like, this is another thought. Let's say they have kind of the same shit that they have on our planet that they do on theirs. But what if instead they skipped over oil and they just went to something else? Like, they went into a different direction instead of what we did, where we went and started using, like, fossil fuels and stuff like that. They had another element that they had that could do could do better than all this, so they decided to do that. Then, on top of that, they figure out how to fly through space and go and visit other planets. They go to a planet like here. They come down here and they're seeing this technology of they're burning fuel and they're using propulsion, like fiery propulsion. Yeah. We don't use that kind of stuff. Let's go check this shit out. And that has only been within past 60 years or 50 years maybe, where we've really started to build more off of like propulsion with like rockets and shit like that. To an alien race that is something that bends time into something completely different. This is something completely different to them. They don't use this kind of stuff. Like they're like, how does this stuff move? How does this, it would make a little bit of sense of like they're trying to figure out what we do, but that's like back then. At this point now, I think it's just more of it's like maybe like a vacation. Yeah. It's like a fucking vacation. They're like, oh yeah, let's come down. And it's like, oh yeah, there's these people over here. Let's fly down real quick and fucking scare the shit out of them.
Yeah.
Like it's at some point it kind of just seems like they're just here on vacation, having the fucking time.
Yeah, because they know most of us are ignorant.
And you're and oblivious to this shit. They're just gonna be like, oh well, they're not gonna fucking notice us, so we can do whatever the fuck we want. It's not like they fear us in any fucking way, shape, or form. Because again, and if people don't believe me, let's put it this way. And again, you can go and listen to the Commander Fravor. He talks about it, this whole experience. The one thing he said this thing did that, again, it just proves my point that they have the technology. If they fucking wanted to, they could fucking end us if they wanted to. This little feat alone, at least for me, it made me believe this. This Tic Tac that Commander Fravor was seeing, it went from where it was to 60 miles the other way in a second. And they caught this on radar. It's not like how radar is, like they get little waves. It's not like it was just trying to pick it up. It couldn't pick it up. They picked it up in one spot. Literally a second later, it's 60 miles in another spot and it just pops up. Please soak that in real quick. That is mind-boggling to all fuck. That's moving faster than the speed of light. That is way faster than the speed of light. Again, how long would it take one of our planes to go to 60 miles where that thing did? It takes about 20 some odd minutes, which makes our shit look fucking minuscule.
Yeah, dude. They gotta travel light years to get here, so that tells you what kind of engine they're running on.
Right, and like the physics going inside the ship. This is another thing that I listened to the Fravor's thing that he brought up that really does kind of make me think too. Something going that fast in that craft, if it does not have anything to stop the anti-gravity to where their atmosphere in the ship is not altered by what's going on outside, those fucking things would be dead. Moving at any speed like that. So again, they have technology that we cannot comprehend. I mean, for fuck's sake, you go on a plane, what do you feel? You feel the turbulence hitting you. We have nothing to stop that. Even when even fighter jets, they have to train going at Mach speeds to even do it. They don't have anything that can just alter their air inside their things to be like, oh, I'm completely fine. I don't feel any of the fucking G-forces coming at me on this fucking plane. We don't have anything like that. But these do? That's insane.
Yeah, but it was like you were saying, when you break the sound barrier, you see that, like, that burst.
Breaking it.
Yeah, breaking it. So it's like, if they're moving at this ridiculous amount of speed, then they must have found a way to break the sound barrier and then stabilize. So then that's what we perceive as just like, oh, it's just a glowing light.
Right.
But really, maybe that could just be them constantly breaking the sound barrier. I don't know.
I mean, it probably is. Anything you see, including that cube, what is the one thing all the things that we see look like they shouldn't be able to do? They look like they shouldn't be able to fly at all.
See, I was trying to decide whether I want to say fly, because it's not like they're flying. But yeah.
Or at least navigate the airspace at a willingness that we cannot do at all.
Yeah, for sure.
You know, because even look at the Tic Tac thing. If you think that any military could build a Tic Tac and it can move
That's
that
what I'm
fucking
saying.
fast,
It's not like it's
not
flying.
aerodynamic.
It's jumping.
It's not aerodynamic, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like the thought of that thing moving so fast, and we have things that we have known to be like, oh, this is aerodynamic. It moves through the air.
Yeah.
These are breaking those ideas out of the, like, they're just destroying these ideas.
Yeah.
Because a Tic Tac could move faster than our fastest fucking jet. And it doesn't even have wings. It's a fucking cube or a fucking Tic Tac.
Yeah, pill, a fucking
pill,
oval
whatever the
cylinder,
fuck.
whatever. Yeah.
A cross that's in the fucking water that apparently is fucking, like, it wouldn't surprise me, because apparently, like, in California, people have been seeing, like, crap that fall into the water and crash into the water in California. Like, I think in San Francisco and shit like that. So, like, that's not out of the realm either. It's just like, it has never been reported. I think with our military, and one thing I get, yes, they are occupying airspace that we have no control over, and it's stuff that we find and we deem valuable, or as an asset to our country and as a whole world in general. But here's the thing. Let's not try to piss them off. You know what I mean? I get it, we're scared. I get it, it's something that we do not comprehend and understand, and yes, we should take it as national security in a sense, because it's something that we don't understand. But let's not try to fucking shoot it and ask questions later.
Right. Like, that's what our government wants to be able to track it for, is so we can get a clean shot.
Right. And if people are like, oh, well, they've never done that before, go look up reports from Russia, their government from 1980 to 1990. They had a 10-year program where they would record any phenomena that they saw, any light, any aircraft, anything. They recorded it all. There was multiple times that they went and chased down an aircraft, and at least twice, planes got shot down by them, and people were killed, and they still have no idea what the fuck those things were.
Shocker.
Couldn't have no evidence of it, but the planes were shot down by they cannot explain. Our government put $22 million into investigating one specific place called the Skinwalker Ranch for 20 fucking years. You know how much evidence they got out of it? None.
Zilch.
None. 20 years of research. Multiple things happened there. Poltergeist activity, lights, seeing aircraft, all that shit. No evidence. No evidence. You want to know why? At least in my opinion? Because they're like, you guys don't need to know we exist. You guys don't need straight up evidence. You already got some of our aircraft. Fucking figure it out. Go and try and figure it fucking out. I guarantee that is at least some of what they sit there and they think when they're like, oh yeah, they got some of our ships. Those are scout ships. I guarantee they're laughing some shit like that. Not to be like, oh, they're superior, but it's, you know, it's to be like, oh, they really think they're going somewhere. They really think they're about to figure this out when they have no fucking... Yeah, exactly. They have no fucking clue. And we don't. As much as, you know, yes, we have evidence to show that exists, we have no fucking clue besides that.
That's what I'm saying. Like, the government may have more resources than we do, but they still perceive things the same as we do.
Right.
You know, they still have the same level of understanding. So, you know, these beings from other realms or other planets, whatever, yeah, they don't know shit. They don't know anything compared to what these beings know.
It was a good comparison that we made about this. It's like, for the longest time, we knew this stuff went on, and we just didn't have a good idea. Now the government's come out and said that we know this stuff, but they're like, we know just as much as you do. We have the stuff, and we kind of understand how it works, but in all actuality, we know just as much as you do. We don't know fucking dick.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, again, that thing of the Russian government trying to go chase down these aircrafts, really thinking that they're gonna fucking shoot them down, and I'm sure this thing literally on a dime stopped, flipped, shot, flipped, went around. It just, I'm sure it was that fucking
I know, it's
quick.
like, motherfucker, I could wipe out your whole planet. You're lucky you caught us in a good mood.
Right. Like, we don't want to fuck with you today, we'll just leave you with a warning shot. As the year goes on, and now that we know this stuff goes on, I just hope that we finally get some true evidence. And I mean true evidence to the point that nobody can dispute it. We know exactly what we are seeing. There is no dispute. There is no, oh, it's a bird, it's a fucking plane, it's a bip, bip, dip. Shut up. It's none of that shit. It's conclusive evidence that finally people realize we are not the only fucking things in the universe. We haven't been. We never have been.
Mm-hmm.
It's just been, we just had no idea that we were, or we didn't look at the past history that ancient civilizations have left us, and funny enough, they have a better recorded history than we ever have.
Yeah.
And they wrote shit down and talked about shit.
Yeah. Unbiased.
Unbiased shit, too. Like, well, maybe to some extreme, maybe a little unbiased, but I'm sure there was some bias probably thrown in there.
But still trying to give somewhat, as much as they could, an honest depiction of what was happening.
Yes.
But who says you can't sit around and talk about aliens for like an hour and a half without sounding too crazy?
Some of the theories I threw out there, I think people would consider me very fucking crazy.
Oh, well, they must have never heard Alex Jones.
I was gonna say, man. Speaking about stuff that people don't understand, and we're doing this episode for Kelly. Her daughter's here too, so she's dealing with that right now. But I wanted to bring up, you know, the whole ghost thing because, you know, now that we know that aliens exist, and that is not out of the realm now, you know, I think it also should bring up the fact that it's breaking the barrier of like what is actually real. And people have the dispute all they want, you know, they're like, oh, I don't know if ghosts exist or spirits exist or demons, whatever the fuck they might be, whatever it is, because if you start saying demons and it's religious and all this other shit, I have, at least for me, I feel like there are good spirits and there are bad spirits because we're all made of energy, right? At the end of the day, our being, our essence, we are all made of some kind of energy. That energy just doesn't go away. Energy, it goes somewhere else.
It doesn't dissipate, it transfers.
Exactly. So why would it be out of the realm of the energy just imprinting itself into something that it remembers or that it somehow has a vague memory of? And if you go to a haunted place, and it's not that the spirits are there to fuck with people, but it's like they're reenacting something that they did way back in the day. There's stuff like that, and then there's actual spirits that aren't clinging to a event that happened or something that it did back when it was alive. Mm-hmm. There's the actual ones that go around and fuck with people. That, you know, that make itself known, make noises, that make itself present to the living. And you know, I don't want to make this the whole thing about ghost stories that we've had, but I've had quite a few in my day, and I will say this, none of them being the same thing twice. None of my experiences have been the same thing twice, which I find very fucking weird, because at least for the most part, when I've seen somebody who's actually experienced it and it's not bullshit. Like you can tell when somebody's talking complete shit about seeing a spirit and then actually going through it. Like Kelly over here, she all the time. You can tell them. You all the time are like, I'm so jealous. I wish I could experience it. I haven't experienced it ever. I wish I could. Let's go to a haunted house. Come on, let's go. But it's all the time, and it's not like I don't want you to experience it ever, because I do feel like some people should, but I don't feel like it's a good idea to go and seek it out. That's the part where I'm like, that I've done that before. That's not a smart idea. And if you want me to, I can tell you the classic example of you do not go fuck with something that is supposedly haunted, or something bad happened there, and you just don't go. So this is senior year of high school. We're graduating, all that stuff. We're, you know, as graduates do, when you graduate, you get fucked up and you go out and party, you go drink beer and all that shit. One of my friends at the school, and this has to be somewhere out in the middle of the country, somewhere, I want to say near Springfield, somewhere not near Omaha. It's about 20-30 minute drive, somewhere out in the middle of buttfuck nowhere. There's this house that I had heard stories about this way back, like just hearing about it through the grapevine. There was a story that there was a farmhouse. And again, I wish I knew where the fuck this place was. My buddy drove, and I have no fucking clue where I was, because, you know, Kelly, I don't know where to go in the country, ever. I get fucking lost. And, but there's this farmhouse in the middle, it's just a farmhouse, whatever, and supposedly the story goes, there was a family there, husband, mom, and 2 kids. The wife dies of an illness, and, the father has to raise the kids, and whatever the fuck. And there's details I'm gonna miss, but stuff goes on, years go by, and it gets to a point where the farmer stops paying money on the land that he has, and I think the story goes, it goes about 3 or 4 months that he's behind on his pay. So of course they're gonna go and repossess the house. So they gotta go there and talk to him and all that shit. They go to the house, and according to, I read this article later, the police officers and the banker that went to the house immediately said, quote unquote, they smelled death when they showed up to the house, not knowing what was going, not knowing what they were going to see. They said going into the house, when they went in, there was a instant smell of just death, like just straight death. And from what they described, there was blood on the walls, there was like entrails of what they assumed to be human. And they go to the kitchen, because trying to find this is a decent sized farmhouse, and they, according to the article, said they found Dad in the kitchen eating a plate of what seemed to be a human heart. Come to later find out that he killed both of his kids because he went crazy, apparently. I think it was like they also got sick. It was something like that. Like they also got sick from what the mother had, and it was like, I guess he went, like he couldn't handle them being sick too, and being alone or something. So he snapped, and they took him away, went to jail, all that stuff. The house never got sold again. Like, as far as I know, there was no other owners of the house.
I can understand why.
Yeah. And so my buddy knew about this place because I think his grandparents lived in the area where it was or something like that. So he had driven past it a few times, and he was like, "Oh well, let's go to this farmhouse. I've heard it's fucking haunted, whatever the fuck." And back then, I was like, even then, I had had a few experiences, but even then, I was like, "Yeah, all right, let's go fucking go. Fuck this, let's fuck ghosts. Let's go." And we I ain't scared. I ain't scared no ghost. But so we go, 24 packs of beer going up, and I'm not gonna lie, going up to the house, it's that classic old, you shouldn't go because it looks fucking creepy at night, especially when you pull up with headlights and you look at the house, you're like, okay, all right, I don't know if this is the greatest idea, but all right, let's go in. And
you already made the drive.
You already made the drive, might as well go. And you know, we're walking up to the house, and mind you, this is old house, like old wooden house, but it doesn't. It was weird. It had been. It looked like it had been there forever, but it wasn't decaying. Like it wasn't like you didn't see any like
any wear or tear.
No, you didn't see any parts of the built like house falling off or anything like something that would be like, yeah, this has been here forever. It looked old, but it wasn't like it looked like it was still intact. It was weird. It was really weird. And we go into the house, and I know nobody lived in that house afterwards because it. Oh my god, the smell of that
stank.
It smelled bad, but it's like, you know, death that has been there forever, and nobody went to clean the smell, and it's just sitting there. It's been sitting there forever. But you know, we're like, fuck it, whatever. We'll drink a few beers. We'll get the fuck over it. We'll get the fuck over the smell. And when you walk in, it was like there was stairs going up into what I assumed to be other bedrooms going upstairs, and there was like a room going over here where there would be like kitchen area, or you know, a dining room area. Sorry, not kitchen area, but dining room area. And then the kitchen would be back over there, and then to your right was the living room area. And fucking crazy, but all the fucking furniture was still there.
Damn.
None of the furniture had been moved, and I know it had been moved because we saw the dust on it. And I, you know, wiped my finger on one of the fucking couches. Oh my god, man. Like, it literally, the shit had been sitting there for years. Years. But we're like, whatever, you know, sit around, fucking drink beer, whatever the fuck. There's like, I don't know.
Because we're alive and they're not.
And they're, you know, they were sitting around in this living room area, and this was the first sign that we should have not been there in the fucking first place at all. And again, I don't know how this showed up there because there was no signs of any modern thing there at all. But we're sitting there drinking beer or whatever, and there's like a little area. There's like a little area beside where this living room is, and it's like I'm guessing another area to sit and whatever.
Right, another living area.
Yeah, another living area or something like that. And mind you, this is pitch dark. We're using like phone lights and shit like that, so it's pitch dark in this fucking house. I swear to God, I hear what sounds like, you know, like a shuffle. But then out of the dark in that room, a weird little ball, like, comes out of the dark.
Dude, no.
Yeah.
I don't fuck with ghost kids. Ghost women and ghost kids are my nose.
Well, here's the thing, though. Like, it wasn't... yes, normally when you see that, you're like, but again, we're drinking all that shit, and we see it, and we're like, oh, okay, we throw it back. And, of course, it come back, and... play with us. Oh, my God, dude, it was creepy. And, you know, but after like, the second time, we just kept the ball. Because even me, I was like, okay, let's not... take
the ball.
Well, at this point, I'm getting I'm starting to get freaked out because, you know, like I said, I've already.
So you take the possessed ball?
I didn't. One of my buddies did. I didn't do it. They did, but they did it because they didn't. You know.
Did you ride in the same car?
Not as that dude. Not as that dude. But so you know, a little bit more time goes past, and then we start hearing shuffling noises upstairs. You know, creepy shit, obviously.
Little creaks.
Yeah, little creaks. You know, it's an old house, and whatever. Fucking stupidly, some people go up there and start to check it. They don't find anything. You know, and it's like it's shit that just keeps building. You know what I mean? It's not like really bad shit, but as it keeps going, it keeps escalating. And I'm sitting where, you know, it'd be a couch right here, but I'm not sitting on the couch. I'm sitting like right in front of it, and there is a, you know, my friend right in front of, or friend at the time, right across from me, and there's like a big mirror, like a random mirror. Like I don't know, like if they just had it there or whatever, but it was just like a mirror.
Does every old abandoned house have to have some big ass fucking mirror?
Yeah. And you know, we're sitting there drinking, just bullshitting, and I look up the slightest bit. I don't know why I look straight at this mirror. I look straight at this mirror and I see what my description was a creepy old dude in the mirror looking straight at my face. Like looking straight at me, and I'm like, I don't say anything because I'm like
See, I would have been like, ghost!
But see, I didn't have time to react because as soon as I saw that it's only a split second,
that's how it
and
be,
then
though.
the
Seriously.
mirror, but this is the thing, the mirror, as soon as I see that old man's face, I'm freaking out and I blink. That mirror falls, and it is, I kid you not, if I could have seen it from a different perspective, this fucking mirror almost hit my friend right in the head. Wow. It missed him by, I would assume, an inch or two, and shatters right behind him, and we're like, he's like, what the fuck? And I'm like, dude, we gotta get out of here. Like, at that point, I'm like, we gotta get the fuck out of here. And they're like, why? And I'm like, we have to get the fuck out of here. I don't explain anything.
I say more.
Yeah, I was like, I'm not explaining myself. We gotta get the fuck out of here. And we are scrambling everything and going. I'm the last one out because I'm trying to, I'm freaking out and making sure everybody's getting the fuck. Yeah, I'm processing and trying to make sure everybody's getting the fuck out because I'm fucking terrified. Yeah. And as I'm leaving, I hear what I can only be described as just loud thuds coming down the steps. Now I don't know what it is. All I'm hearing is just like a. But you're hearing steps as you're hearing footsteps, but you're also hearing a. And I don't know what the fuck it is, so I'm like, oh, let's fucking go. Get in the car. Everybody's in the car. We turn on our fucking lights, and I shit you not, man, it's like the classic old farmer with like a weird wool shirt on and overalls, and he has an axe on his, just holding it, and is just standing at the front door, and all he does is just look up, and he just has these fucking red piercing eyes. We're like, fuck this, and we book it. Never been able to find that place again. I don't even know if it really fucking exists, to be honest. I have tried looking for this place. This plate, I don't know if it got tore down or whatever. I have never gone back to that place again. And that is why I tell you, Kelly, you don't want to go fucking trying to find that shit, because you're going to go conjuring up something you don't want to fuck with. It's terrifying.
It's not hard, dude.
No, it's not. I was just being stupid.
It's really not hard to come across some shit.
I was being really fucking stupid at the time. It still bothers me to this day. Now, granted, I haven't experienced anything afterwards, so it didn't follow me. None of that shit. But that whole thing is still burned in my brain, and I cannot forget that shit. That shit. I don't even think the friends that experienced that at the time really do talk about it. I really doubt it. Because I don't even know if they could process what fucking happened. It's just, I don't even know. I can't even process it.
It's like they forgot.
Well, because the ball and shit, the kids were actually being playful. It wasn't anything demonic. It's as soon as we started hearing noises upstairs,
Daddy came home.
That's when the kids, that stuff went away. Because that stuff wasn't even harmful. We were just kind of taking it, oh, they're just being playful and shit. But as soon as we started hearing noises upstairs, like you said, Daddy came home, and shit just got really fucking quick.
Yeah, that's some real shit, dude. I believe you. I know exactly what you're talking about. Nothing like that is like framework. That is like a movie. That's like a Stephen King novel.
And it's terrifying as fuck.
A bunch of kids go into an abandoned house and get spooked the hell out of it.
And it smelled like death too, mind you, and that didn't help shit matters either. The fact that whole house smelled like death, and mind you, again, I don't think anybody came and lived in that house. If they did, they probably left because of that smell. Dude, it felt like it was infused into the walls. It was so bad. It was just a stench that had been just there forever, and it was just able to literally seep into the fucking walls because they had been there for fucking ever. They literally just left the house as it was. We didn't check anything else about the fucking farm, the land, nothing. We went straight. We didn't check anything else. Thank God.
The house became one with the underworld.
Fucking what is Portal 4 fucking Satan? Jesus fucking Christ, man. That shit was terrifying.
Yeah, dude, I would love to share some of my stories, but I don't think we got that kind of time.
I actually got two.
Go for it.
Two more. This is one that happened more recently, and it was in near Springfield at a cemetery called Ball Cemetery. People can look this up. Excuse me, hold on. It's a real place. We used to me and my friends used to go there and hang out because it was like our hangout spot for like the weekend. We didn't have anything better else to do, so we're like, fuck it. Let's make this graveyard our fucking place to hang out, because it didn't seem that scary, and we had heard some things about it. There's supposedly a woman in white that goes across the graveyard. Saw her. It's creepy as fuck. There was something that I heard out there that nobody's heard before. We were in the graveyard, and then we hear what I describe as marching. Like soldiers marching in the distance. Mind you, in Springfield, there is no military base within 100 miles of that fucking place. The next military base is Ashland, and that's the other fucking direction. That's 10 miles in, and then you still gotta drive to like Gretna. Like, there's no military base that's close there. But anyways, that's the shit leading up to this. This is shit I've seen before this happened. So we're all there drinking, not really drinking, this pop and shit, but we have our cars. And when you go into the cemetery, there's one way in, one way out. There is no other way to get in. We're there, and then this white car comes in and pulls up behind us. You know, and at the time we're like, okay, whatever, you know, some other people are here, whatever the fuck. 20 minutes go by. Nobody gets out of that car. Not a single person. We don't hear a door open. We don't hear nothing. Nobody opens up these fucking doors. I go over with my buddy and I'm like, hey, let's check this car. You know, let's flash our lights in there and see what the fuck is up. There's not a sign of anybody being in that car. It's locked from the inside. We checked. You know, you can see the lock on the, you know, on the little windowsill or whatever. They're all locked. There's no sign of like anybody being in the car. It's pretty clean, to be honest. We were like, what the fuck? And we're like, okay, let's leave. And as soon as we turn on our cars and start to leave, the car turns on, and the car follows us out of the cemetery. But the thing is, the car doesn't come out of the cemetery. We leave, and where this road was, it was like it's covered by trees, and then once you get out onto the main dirt road, then you can see like into the road, like going in. We waited for that car to come out. That car never came out. We went back in to check. Car wasn't there. Car was nowhere to be fucking seen. And one of my friends at the time,
So I just want to make sure I'm following you.
Yeah.
A ghost car?
It's fucking crazy. I wish I was making this shit up. We not see a single person in that car. Nobody got out of the car. There was no sound of the door opening. There was no rolling down a window and they came out of the fucking... There was no hiding in a trunk. None of that shit. Nobody was in the fucking car. This car pulls up randomly. And my friends at the time have even tried being like, oh, well, maybe they remotely, you know, rigged the car to fucking do that. Because there was like a house, like somebody does watch that cemetery like down the hill. And they're like, oh, what if that guy... I'm like, what? I fucking doubt that a dude rigged a fucking car to scare the shit out of people going to a fucking cemetery. I doubt he's got that kind of fucking money and that kind of fucking time. Are you fucking insane? Like, never mind the fact, oh, there's shit I saw there. Never mind, again, the woman in white, because the whole point was to go to the 4-corner challenge. You touch each corner of the fucking cemetery and then you sit there and wait. I did it by myself, stupidly. I did it by myself in the dead of night because I wanted to see if it was fucking true. It's fucking true.
It's true, alright.
Dude, I sat there, it took all of fucking 20 seconds, and I see this fucking white figure come out of the trees, because this graveyard, it's like covered by, you know, surrounded by trees. So like in the dead of night, you can't see shit. I see this white figure just start coming out of the fucking... And it's not like walking. It's floating above the fucking cemetery. And I am just sitting there. I don't make a noise. I don't make a sound. Because I'm like... It's like one of those things of like, if it can't hear me, it's not going to look at me kind of thing, you know? And it just floats on by. And it's just this woman in white, this old woman in white that just go... And I'm just like... And as soon as she fucking went by, I'm like, I'm gone. I'm out of here. This is fucking creepy. I don't know. I've just been kind of lucky. I don't know. Lucky is the right word, but I've just been kind of. I don't know. When it comes to ghosts, I've never really had something that's like tried to attack me in a way. You know what I mean? I've never had the 3 scratch marks or things attack me or anything like that. Maybe it's because of the way I treat them. I don't know. But because I don't treat it with disrespect because I know better. I'm sure it would be hard for people to really listen to this and like, oh, he's telling the truth. How can I know he's telling the truth? It's like, okay. You want to know how I'm telling the truth about this stuff, and then I'm not making any of this shit up because I have no reason to make any of this shit up, to be honest. I got no reason. It's 2 o'clock in the fucking morning. What reason do I really have to fucking be telling, like, be spewing bullshit right now? This is the only real memory I have of my childhood. This is at 3 years old. My mom is, at the time, going to, you people could look this up. At the time, it was called Truman University. I'm sure it's changed names again over the course of many years. But at the time, she was going to a college out in Kearney called Truman University, or somewhere close to that, or somewhere around that area. And if you look this up, this old college used to be a old hospital for like old, bad diseases back in the time. So like tuberculosis, polio, whatever, what have you, just really bad diseases. And after the hospital got shut down, it turned into a college. Why the fuck they did that, I have no idea. And you'll see why. So my mom's going and talking to her professor one day, so she takes me, and me being a little kid, I got a bladder of a fucking fly, so I'm like, Mom, I gotta go to the bathroom. She's like, okay, it's just down the hall. And I had apparently been here multiple times and kind of knew where I was going. Right. And the bathroom was literally down the hallway from the classroom that she's in. So I go down to the bathroom, little 3-year-old, yeah, you gotta go tinkle. And I go into the bathroom, just doing a little 3-year-old thing. And my memory it's sharp to this day about this experience I had. I'm sitting there peeing, and then I hear this little kid behind me, and he's like, hey, can you help me find my mom? Those were his exact words. But as a 3-year-old, I'm innocent, and from what I saw as my 3-year-old mind, and I can picture it, he was a blonde-headed kid with a plaid shirt on and some jeans. It was just like, a little kid. And I was like, yeah, sure, I can go help you find your mom. And I didn't know, like, my 3-year-old mind, I was like, okay, I know of only one place that I think that somebody, that'll help this kid, would be the front desk. Go to the elevator, because I know how to use it, and we get in, and the whole time this kid is still there. Now, the kid doesn't say anything, but the kid's still there. My 3-year-old mind is like, there's another 3-year-old right next to me. And as we go down, go to the main floor, and go to the desk, and I'm like, hey, can you help me find this kid's mom? And she's like, what kid? Now, again, 3-year-old, you hear that, and you're like, what? I turn around, kid's gone. Kid was never there, apparently. She said I walked out of the elevator by myself. There was no kid there. But mind you, why would a 3-year-old be remembering that? Like, why would I just be making up that I saw a 3-year-old and was trying to help him find his mother? Yeah. And I went and literally went back up to that classroom and was like, Mom, I found a kid. We went. This is how much my mom thought that I was talking about an actual kid. It didn't learn until much later I was talking about a ghost, because I was 3. I didn't know any better. Sure. We literally looked for this child in this university for over an hour. Because she thought I was talking about an actual kid. Like, she believed me to the point of, like, she really thought I saw a kid and he just disappeared. When I finally told her, she was like, you know what? Let's go back to that hospital. Or go back to that university. Because she's like, I know there's some stories that it used to be a hospital. Let's go check it out. And I had to have been like 6 or 7 at this point. And we go back. It was crazy. Some of the university had been, like, there's some parts of the university you couldn't go to, and there's a reason why, because they left all the equipment in some of the rooms. They didn't take out any of the gurneys, any of the IV bag things. All that stuff was still there in parts of the university. They just didn't move any of them. We dug further. We went deeper down into the university. We found the furnace where they burned the bodies, and the thing was still full of ashes. The thing was still full of ashes, man. So it was like, that's just a whole bunch of just literal poltergeist activity, literally just because of that. And I'll say this, my mother, as much as she was religious, and she was a very religious person when I was younger, not as much as she was anymore, like, as she was, but even back then, like, she was still very, like, she was even, like, you know, she had suspicions about ghosts and shit. Like, she's told me many times, there was a couple times where she had, like, experiences of her own and shit, and I was like, really? You know, and then there's a plethora of other ones I could fucking go into, but like, I can't sit there and say the shit does not exist. I can't. I literally I can't sit there and say that because I've had experience, whether people want to believe it or not. And I've had some pretty other crazy ones too that I can't fucking explain. One fucking Indian in Colorado one. We can get to that one another fucking day.
That's why I don't get upset at a kid for like screaming bloody murder, for sitting in the dark in their room, like waking up out of their sleep.
Dark's scary, man.
Dude, like I remember.
Kid's mind?
I remember being, like you said, like 3 years old and seeing like a woman, and she would always try to come up to me.
Like, try to, like...
I didn't know what her intentions were.
Right.
I couldn't let her get that close to me, but like...
Something was telling you, like...
I just didn't like how she
Yeah.
looked. I couldn't, and plus it didn't help that I couldn't see her because it's the dark, so all I see is just, it's clearly...
Like a veil, kind of?
Yeah, all I see is just crazy wild hair. Definitely a woman.
Yeah.
Slim, feminine figure. Almost kind of like really like skeletal, like very like skin
Like you
to
would
bone.
classically see in a movie with a creepy like woman ghost.
Totally.
You know?
Like I would have hated to see her seen her face.
Right.
But
the woman in black.
Right. But there was a chunk of time where I could not sit in my room in the dark without seeing this woman in the corner. She would start in the corner and then make her way to me, and I would just scream for my mom.
Yeah, that's creepy.
And then my mom would come in and she'd be gone.
Yeah.
And there was another thing that I mean, this is kind of like unrelated to ghosts, but like still going along with like stuff that you see when you're a kid that just looks so real. Like, how are they hallucinations? I don't know. Like, is it really just because a kid's
imagination runs wild?
Yeah, they have so much space in their head that's not filled with useless information, so their imagination is stronger. But I had this is gonna sound silly, but
what?
I had
sillier than a fucking farmhouse that looks like should be on Scooby-Doo, and a dude with an axe comes out.
Debatable, but
Come on.
I had an imaginary girlfriend. Again, around this same age, 3 to 4-ish, and she was. I didn't know the concept of imaginary friends at the time. Yeah. I would see this lady with red hair and blue skin and red lips, and she
fucking Mystique over here from the X-Men or something.
Just minus scales.
Yeah,
just very smooth blue skin, a very soft face, and she always kind of had her eyes closed, like but with a smile, like she was just peace and enlightenment and personified, like almost like God, if anything.
Zen.
But yeah. And I remember telling my parents about it, and they looked at me like, "What?" I'm like, "Yeah, there's a blue lady in my room, and she visits me during the day, and she lays on my bed, and she just lays there, and like, it's not like she talks to me, but I didn't know how to contextualize it at the time, but she would speak to me without moving her mouth, and I didn't understand, I didn't know how to make sense of that at the time.
Shit.
But she looked so real, so solid. Like
right.
I never
you can go and touch her.
Yes, I never when I found out what imaginary friends were, I never equivalated her to that. But I guess that's what she was to me. I guess she was my imaginary friend. But usually you hear I mean I've grown since then. I've come across children, who've had imaginary friends, and usually it's something that they clearly made up.
Yeah.
You know? So I don't know. I've always wondered, like, what was that? Was that a spirit? Was that God? Was that hallucination? I don't know.
See, I'm not the whole hallucination thing. I don't know if you can you really hallucinate as a child though? You know what I mean? And I don't really want to bring this up like that, but like here's the thing, like Kelly's daughter did recently have a bad dream, something to that, to this extent, where, and she even told me, about the dream. She describes it as they were in the kitchen at her grandma's house, Kelly's mom's house, and she's with her cousin, her little cousin, and she describes this thing as a black mass that they see in the kitchen, and they don't know what it is, and they start trying to run away from it, and they can't get away from it, and then it pops up somewhere else and starts trying to talk to Kelly's daughter, and then I'm pretty sure she said she woke up after that. But it's like, that's not really something they just make up. Like that's something, that's a terrible dream, or it's so weird, because there's only one time I ever felt truly, besides the part where thing, truly fucking scared, because one, I didn't know what it was, two, I was powerless, legitly powerless, right. And like it was like a scare, jump scare almost. It was a jump scare, but the jump scare was lasting more than just a second. It was lasting for 10, longer.
You were paralyzed.
Yes. I was, oh God, how old was I? I had to have been 12, 11, something like that. I remember waking up, and I was fully awake for this. I was not asleep. I wasn't half awake, half asleep. I wake up, and as soon as I open up my eyes, in the corner of my room, all I see is a black mass. That's all I can, it's just a black figure in the corner of my room, and he's got piercing red eyes. I can't breathe. I can't move. I can't scream. I can't make a noise. Yeah. Any fucking kind to be like, Mom. I can't say anything. And this I'm literally staring at, we are locked eyes for what seemed for an eternity, but I assume it was only 10 seconds or something. But it felt for a fucking eternity. I am looking straight into this thing's red eyes, and I'm like, I can't fucking do anything. Is it gonna move at me? What is it gonna do? And all I do is blink my eyes once, and it gone. And I can move, I can breathe. I'm like, what in the fuck was that?
See, with me, I won't lie. There was. I feel like I came into this world strongly believing in an afterlife and gods and ghosts and stuff. But there were times where sometimes there's just times where you don't experience that much in
you
supernatural.
Just kind of feel like it's bullshit.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You're just oh, is it really real?
Yeah,
Is that shit really?
You start to be like, oh, that was just my childhood. So
I've been there.
I was just a kid with a crazy imagination. But
I've been there. But you know what's crazy? Every time you think that, oh, it's bullshit, especially for us, where we've already experienced it before, there's a crazy way of just popping up, being like, oh yeah, you really think so? Look at this shit.
Yeah.
But
I was gonna say, so yeah, I've had my doubts, but I'll tell you what, there's nothing like losing a grandparent.
Yeah. And then seeing
to
them
just
afterwards.
solidify it for you, because my grandmother passed a few years back, and me and her have a lot of unresolved things, and yeah, she's been in my life ever since she lost hers. She communicates with me all the fucking time, and with those close to me. But so there was that. Then you mentioned the bed, and that made me that reminded me of something that happened when I was 8 years old. I had a bunk bed. It was a bunk bed with just the top bunk.
No, I had the same thing. You would have a little area where you had a little desk and shit underneath it.
Sure.
Shit like that. Yeah.
Yeah, it was something like that.
Instead of having another bed.
It was something like that. It probably came as that, and they probably took the desk out. I don't know. My aunt and my mom, as a birthday gift for me, like, deck the fuck out of this room. You would have thought it was like made from like a set designer or a decorator from like MTV Cribs or something. Like, I don't know how the fuck they did it. The shit was banana sandwich.
Come pit my son's roof.
Like, I did not deserve that. So I sleep on this bunk, and one night I'm woken up violently by this bunk bed rattling and shaking something fierce. I then, terrified, look over the edge to expect maybe my mom's abusive boyfriend at the time or something, but no, there was nothing. And it gets better. This just shows how just Hollywood is bullshit. Because if this was a movie, the rattling would have stopped, but it didn't. I'm looking at nothing shake the shit out of my bed. Now, granted, I am in California at this time. It could have been an earthquake, but there was no reports of an earthquake the next day. My mom and whoever didn't mention anything about any shaking or nothing. It was literally just something that I experienced, and it woke me out of my sleep. I then looked to see what's up. Nothing was there, and it kept doing it for a solid 2 minutes.
Fun.
And then nothing from that. But yeah, dude, shit's out there. You know, you can't be closed-minded in 2020.
Not really.
What, have you learned nothing?
Have you learned nothing from our president? Inject Lysol! Inject Lysol into yourself. Disinfect yourself.
But if I may, I just want to lighten things up really quick, and then we'll get out of here. But yeah, I just want to do a quick Where Were They Then?
Yes.
I feel like it deserves a jingle.
A jingle? I mean, I'm sure you can think of...
Where are they now? Where were they then?
Well,
I can't sing right now.
Right. But you know what you should put for there until now? You just should put the reading rainbow fucking noise, and then like have like a little rainbow, like, where are they now?
Where are they then?
Yeah, that's the little thing that pops up. Where are they now?
Yeah.
Where are they then?
So, Where Were They Then is basically just a segment I'm doing to just to spread awareness that failure is acceptable. Not everything works on the first try. Things that you know, things that are famous, things that you love, things that you're a fan of, didn't always start like that. So this is
like
why
Kentucky Fried Chicken.
I call this Where Were They Then? So,
hey, he fits on that list.
All right. So Post Malone, he's pretty big, you know. He's pretty big these days. Am I right?
Yeah, just did a podcast
what all
with
the
Joe
kids
Rogan.
Are raving about.
Yeah, and
he's just on Rogan.
And if you've seen that fucking podcast, I think he brought the young person out, Joe Rogan, again. My God, I've never seen him act that way with a fucking like somebody on.
It's been a minute since I've seen full blown just high talk.
High stupid Joe Rogan
from Joe.
Yeah.
Well,
it's fucking nuts. Even Kelly sat down and watched the whole thing. And she doesn't watch podcasts much at all, but she was just like, oh yeah, Post Malone's on there. She sat down and watched the whole fucking thing. It went for 4 fucking hours.
Dude, if I was Post, I would be embarrassed by that video, dude.
Which one?
Fucking. I mean, I get it. They're clearly high.
Well, they're high as shit,
the
dude.
shit that was coming out of his mouth.
Well, here's
I
the
didn't
thing.
even believe he was making sense to himself.
At first, no, and I think it was because of the weed. I think it was
did he sober up?
Yes, because
okay.
as you go, it goes after like the 150 mark. After you hit the 150 mark, because they take a break and then they come back. After that, his words and his sentences flow much better. I think it was just because he was super fucking high. And his fucking
got
mouth,
over the nerves too.
That and his mouth was moving faster than his brain could process. I'm pretty sure. So
that was another thing I noticed. He was definitely nervous. I don't know if it was because he was high or if it was because he was on Joe Rogan's podcast or what. But and plus, like he said, he's an anxious person.
Yeah.
Person. I didn't know if you guys know Post Malone's Persian.
But I mean, yeah, it would make sense because I mean, Joe Rogan's like now, you know how it used to be like. The Letterman show or the Jay Leno show or, you know, something like that. Like, if you got on that show, you made it. Joe Rogan's kind of become that now. It's like if you made it on Joe Rogan's podcast, you made it.
Yeah,
like,
he's pretty much our generation's Howard Stern.
Literally.
The way he's revolutionized it.
But a lot cooler.
But
a lot cooler and a lot more Italian.
But back to my man Austin Post. You know his music by now. You have to. What would you consider him? A rapper?
He's a rapper. He's
pop,
like a
pop
rapper.
rap?
It's a mix between it's pop rap.
Yeah, it's totally
like he
pop
raps,
rap.
but like even when he sings, it's like okay, it's like I think I told you it was like Drake-esque.
Yeah,
in a
like
way.
even when he sings, he's still keeping it hood, yo.
As hood as he could possibly keep it.
But he didn't always start out that way, believe it or not. What?
No, have you seen
No.
pictures of him when he was in high school? He was an emo kid. Yeah, that's what Post Malone was. He was that emo kid in fucking school who liked rap.
I wouldn't say that.
He was emo. You kind of look at him. He kind of had like long, like kind of black hair looking shit. At least senior year, he
All
kind
right,
of looked that
all
way.
right, all right. Emo, huh?
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's check out Emo, Post Malone's first track, titled "Why Don't You Love Me."
Let's see here.
Let me tell you a little story.
Ew.
Hey, girl.
Well, you can't say he wasn't creative. This is before the face tattoos and everything. Why does he have
like women
why does
crush
he have,
over this dude?
Yeah, why does he have Daisy Duke fucking short shorts on?
It's a fashion statement, man.
Because he's a bad boy.
Don't knock him.
Man, I don't think if anybody sees this, you're never gonna look at Post Malone the same way again.
Watch. This is my favorite part. What the heck? Oh, wait till his hype man comes in. Wait till his hype man comes in with the backup.
What the fuck is that?
These guys know that neither of them can sing.
You're like, is that a small Mexican child? What was that? Like that didn't know. Yeah, look at him. He looks like a small Mexican child. It looks like Dora's cousin who got lost. Like.
Oh, with the leopard print hat. I didn't even.
Okay, that looks better. He's a white kid.
Oh, it's a bandana.
Is he a white kid?
I'm gonna guess Hispanic.
He's short as fuck.
Post looks like he's selling ass and that's his pimp.
What the fuck?
I'm crying.
It's like a bad reggae without the reggae.
And like, if you didn't know any better, you would think this is a joke. But no, he said that he was serious when he made this.
I don't know how.
And you can tell.
I don't know how.
It's
With
very
this fucking
evident.
little heart thing that he's doing there. Like, what the I can't. Okay, well, here's the thing.
Why don't you love me?
Auto-tune helped him a lot.
Whoever gave him singing lessons, bravo. Cause
Well, you know where he got his singing lessons from. He got them from T-Pain. He was like, "Hell, hey, auto-tune, that'll help." Or
yeah, there he is. Look, there's his T-Pain singing lessons coming through that auto-tune.
But you know what?
How do you have the money that he has and not get this pulled off any website?
Humble beginnings. You gotta know where he came from, man. But
I will say that he is shameless.
Yes, and also,
like I was saying, I rest my case.
I hope you guys see this in the video, but hearts literally just started coming out of Post Malone's ass as he was saying.
How can I not share this with them? You know they're gonna see.
Come on.
But
come on.
As he gaily,
don't you love
as
me?
he gaily throws his fucking scarf at the cunt.
Come on, I'm the heartthrob of 2019.
Do you think he was hot
don't
then,
know
girl?
it yet.
Oh, come on, girl. You thought I think you said he was a snack. You thought he was hot.
A snack?
Yes, it's the same thing. It's the same goddamn thing. It's what the kids are saying. Yes. But you did say he looked ugly with his head tattoo.
Oh, yeah.
And he should have kept his hat on during that fucking interview. But that's the one thing she said. He was like, it was good up until he took his hat off. Because it was like we couldn't even see like what the fuck was on top of his head. Like you couldn't even see what the tattoo was. It obviously looked cool, it looked intricate as fuck, but you just couldn't see it because you saw this part of it. You saw the fucking top of his forehead. But I'll say this: as bad as that was, and that was bad, it was still better than the squeaky rap.
I'm saying I'd listen to that again.
I would listen to that
now.
over the squeaky rap all goddamn day. I would have it on repeat.
Like,
just to prove the point that I would not listen to that squeaky rap.
I actually had fun with that.
Yeah. It was just...
I didn't have fun with the squeak. I know it may have came off that way because we were laughing, but I think it was a thing of laughing to keep from crying. Because
oh my god, I was in tears, dude.
I went mad.
It's so bad. But anyways,
Yeah.
continue with Mr. Post over there. Grow your hair back so we don't have to see your head tattoo anymore. And so you don't have to wear hats all the time. I'm just saying, he looks ugly as fuck with no hat on and no hair, and he just has a head tattoo.
I go what Post would say if he heard you say that.
I know he doesn't give a fuck.
Why don't you love me, BJ?
Oh, I love you, dude.
Why don't you love me?
You just gotta keep that hat on. It's like looking at an ugly person. Like you can't make direct eye contact with them. You can still talk to them, but you can't look at them. That's kind of where I'm at with you, Post, with that. Just keep the hat on. I don't care if it's a Utah Utes. I don't care if it's a fucking make America Great Again hat. Just keep the hat on until you grow your hair back.
But yes, there you have it. That again, that just then is a perfect example as to why I have this segment, because you love Post, don't you? Well, he wasn't always that guy.
Yeah, now you know where he came from. With his Daisy Duke shorts coming out, with hearts coming out of his ass and his heart.
Pushing boundaries.
Very, yeah, with the pasty white legs of his.
You know, I heard that he, and he's pretty much admitted to it without admitting to it. I heard that he reeks really bad of BO.
He kind of looked like it. Have you ever seen his hair? Like,
yeah.
Don't get me wrong. Like, some people have some like messy ass hair, but that Post looked like every time I saw him, it, like he hadn't taken a shower in like 3 days.
Yeah.
Like that's the vibe I got every time I saw a Post. I'm like, man, you're rich.
See, I heard
you must smell.
I heard
awful.
that from like fangirls that were like excited to meet him and got
And then they're
VIP
like,
passes and like gave him a hug and was like,
maybe that's why he smokes so
oh
much
my god,
weed.
Post really fucking stinks. And
or was it because the weed he had smelled like shit? Maybe that was the kid.
No, but then he confirmed it without confirming it on a video that I saw where it was one of those like ask this celebrity anything sort of thing or whatever, or this celebrity answers questions from the internet, and it was him, and it said something about, oh, what did it say? It was something to do with women, like how are you with women or something like that, and he was like, honestly, you know, I've been told I have my own musk, and I think women can't get enough of it, and that's what attracts them to me. So I like to keep that natural musk, and I don't really wear deodorant or any cologne or anything of that nature. I rock it. I rock it natural.
It's my own scent.
And he said it like it was the most. He said it like it was the most pimp shit you could ever say. Yeah, just. Oh, man.
Like he's a white dude trying to grow out his dreads so you can understand why he stinks, but it's like, where the fuck are your dreads at, man? Why do you stink so bad and you don't have any dreads to prove, like, to show for it? Like, at least the white dudes who actually go balls to the wall with the fucking dreads,
right?
They actually have dreads, even if it looks shitty. At least they go with the dreads. That's why they smell bad. You just smell bad because you don't want to take a fucking shower. That's why you shaved your head, probably, and got the head tattoo.
Fucking hippie. All right, let's wrap things up with yesterday.
He's turning into Lil Wayne, man. He's just getting stupid ass tattoo after stupid ass tattoo now. Like he's turning into that now.
And you know what? Take a page out of Wayne's book and get your dreads washed
and start skateboarding.
I mean, if you want. One thing at a time.
Do the do. Remember when he did those commercials? Do the do.
Do
with
the
the fucking skateboard.
Yes, I do. Wow.
That would always trip me out because I was like,
that was a nostalgia trip that I didn't need.
Well, it was like when I saw Little Wayne start, like, I'm sure you dabbled with the fucking skateboard, dude. But don't try to make that part of your fucking image now that, like, I skateboard too. It's like, dude.
He was a skateboarding activist. He wanted the black community to accept.
No, that's fine.
Which was dumb because there's so many fucking black kids that skate.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I was one of them.
He's, like, one of the best fucking skaters out there, and he's black. Literally, and he's been doing it since he was 13.
Yeah, so I'm with you. I was really, every time he would say that, I would groan or cringe.
It's like,
just
dude, fuck
no.
off. Like, he's in a music video and he's skating on his skateboard while he's sitting. I'm like, dude.
Or like every fucking song he had to say, like, I'm on my skateboard.
I do a kickflip on my skateboard. It's like, fuck off, dude. We get it. You're not Tony Hawk, though. Fuck off.
Dressed like a skater. Like, shut the fuck up.
You just like the style, you fuck.
Yeah, I don't know what his obsession was with that, but now it's time for yesterday's of yesteryears. Today is August 1st, and the most eventful things that have happened throughout history on I almost said October. On August 1st are 1498. Christopher Columbus landed on Isla Santa, also known as Venezuela. 1774, oxygen
Did
was
he accidentally find that too?
That was good. 1774, oxygen was isolated from air successfully by chemist Carl Wilhelm and scientist Joseph Priestley. 1779, Francis Scott Key was born. He was an American composer, attorney, poet, and social worker. He wrote a poem called Defense of Fort McHenry that then became the lyrics to the song Star Spangled Banner.
Huh.
Pretty
Good for
dope.
that guy.
1790, the first U.S. census was completed with a total population of 3,929,214 people.
That seems really low.
1790?
Oh, 1790. Okay, I thought you said like 1990. I was like, what?
Yeah, 3,929,214.
Man, we were fucking like rabbits then, weren't we?
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Now
Anyways.
that's like New York.
I know, right? That's just like, oh yeah, that's a suburb of New York.
And apparently the areas included the present states of Connecticut, Delaware, Georgia, Kentucky, Maine, Maryland, Massachusetts, New Hampshire, New Jersey, New York, Pennsylvania, Rhode Island, North Carolina, South Carolina, Tennessee, Vermont, and Virginia.
So half of them states nobody fucking goes to ever.
But that's a lot of people divided by what, like, I don't know how many states that was, like
at least
15,
yeah,
10?
Close, yeah.
Moving on, 1834, slavery was outlawed in the British Empire with an emancipation bill. 1873, Andrew S. Halady successfully tested a cable car. The design was done for San Francisco, California. 1873.
Now it holds a bunch of meth heads on it.
And gays.
1876,
Colorado became the 38th state to join the United States. 1893, shredded wheat was patented by Henry Perky and William Ford.
And made a ton of money off of it.
Because they're delicious. I like the frosted ones the best. 1894, the first Sino-Japanese War erupted. The dispute was over control of Korea. 1907, the U.S. Army established an aeronautical division that later became the U.S. Air Force.
Oh, okay.
1914, Germany declared war on Russia at the beginning of World War I. 1936, Adolf Hitler presided over the Olympic Games as they opened in Berlin. 1943, in Solomon Islands, the U.S. Navy patrol torpedo boat PT-109 sank after being hit by the Japanese destroyer the boat was under the command of, who gives a shit? In 1944, in Warsaw, Poland, an uprising against Nazi occupation began. The revolt continued until October 2nd, when Polish forces surrendered.
Goddamn Polish. I don't know.
What
I'm just gonna go there.
Just what a sad line of lives they lead.
Just like the French.
Just like the French. 1946, in the U.S., the Atomic Energy Commission was established. 1953, the first aluminum face building was completed. It was the first of this type in America. 1956, the Social Security Act was amended to provide benefits to disabled workers aged 50 to 64 and disabled adult children. 1957, the North American Air Defense Command, NORAD, was created by the United States and Canada. 1960, Chubby Checkers' The Twist was released. Also in 1960, Elvis Presley was named Public Enemy #1 by the East German newspaper Young World.
What the fuck? Man, they really fucking hated Elvis back in the day.
Different times,
Those
man.
Germans fucking just fuck him! Fuck Elvis Presley!
That's like Germany freaking out about Post Malone today.
But you know what they got later? They got David Hasselhoff. They're fine.
1975, the Helsinki Accords pledged the signatory nations to respect human rights.
As they should have done in the fucking first place.
Fucking should, right? 1976.
I don't know why it took that long. Fuck.
1976, the Seattle Seahawks played their first preseason game. The Seahawks lost 27-20 to San Francisco.
Oh, speaking of Seattle, this is very off topic, and I can't believe I fucking forgot about this. Guess what they're getting?
What?
Professional hockey team.
No kidding.
Yes, they are. Guess what their name is?
The what? The Sea Lions?
No. It is sea related, but no, it's not the Sea Lions.
What is it?
Kraken.
I can dig it.
But their logo is just a K.
Oh, they lost me.
With a tentacle going around.
Oh, they lost me.
Yeah, I know, right? They could have done so much cooler shit with that, but they just whatever. But yes, there's going to be a professional hockey team in Seattle called the Kraken.
Such a missed opportunity with that logo. 1978, Pete Rose from Cincinnati Reds ended his streak of hitting in 44 consecutive games.
Yes, and then got in trouble for betting on his own team and gambling. And that's why he can't go to the Hall of Fame, and he's banned for life from, well, not anymore, but he was banned for life from most baseball stadiums for like 30 years.
This is why all you should be doing is hitting the ball.
Hitting the ball.
1981, MTV made its debut at 12:01 a.m. The first video to be shown was Video Killed the Radio Star by the Buggles. 1993, Reggie Jackson was admitted into the Baseball Hall of Fame in Cooperstown, New York. 1994, Michael Jackson and Lisa Marie Presley announced that they had been married 11 weeks earlier in the Dominican Republic. And it was a fucking ruse. It was a facade. You've been bamboozled. You were hornswoggled. Anyway. 1995, Westinghouse House Electric Corporation announced a deal to buy CBS for $5.4 billion. 1996, MTV launched another channel known as MTV2. Oh, that's interesting. They both.
And that fucking channel sucks dick too.
MTV1 debuted on this date, and so did MTV2.
You know what the only difference is between the two fucking shows? MTV2 has this mascot of a two-headed fucking dog that it looks like Cerberus lost its middle head, and it's just two dogs.
And lastly, 2006, Cuban leader Fidel Castro turned over absolute power when he gave his brother Raul
Castro
authority while he underwent intestinal surgery.
Didn't he die from that?
He died in 2016.
Oh wow! Wow,
Yeah.
he lived 10 years afterwards. Good for that guy.
Yeah. But that'll do it for today's entry. If you have anything you would like to contribute, that is art, a story, whatever, even yourself, if you'd like to, join in on this shindig.
Animate some of the shit that we're talking about. I would love to see this, bring this shit to fucking life. It'd be hilarious. Especially some of the stories that we had. Oh my god.
If you have anything that you would like us to see, please feel free to send it to won'trememberthingpodcast@gmail.com. That is won'trememberthingpodcast@gmail.com. Don't you dare put an apostrophe in won't, or you will piss me off.
Or the aliens.
With that, we love you, and we'd say thanks for listening, but you probably won't remember a thing.
Because I know I won't. Aliens are coming. Oh, they're coming!